No Motion Media. We are back. How are my media nights doing? Thank you for joining us in another weekly episode of No Motion Media. I'm Melvin Motion. He's Marvin Motion. Together we make No Motion episode 106. Thank you for joining us. Today we have a lot to talk about, and we will begin with some gaming because we're gamers. And
Factual.
the big story in gaming, amongst us gamers, esteemed gamers, is Marvel Rivals. New game, hot shot on the block. Great reviews. I love it. A lot of people like it. Plays well. Already getting 4 new heroes in season one already. Overwatch is looking scary. It's looking scary. I don't know if you played Marvel Rivals yet.
So I will be honest. Well, let me be honest.
Let
Um,
me be honest. Oh, you just got a free throw.
um, I've still not downloaded the game. I've said it
Oh
every
dear.
single week for the last 3 weeks it's been out that I was gonna download the game. I've yet to download it. After this podcast, on me, I'll screen share it. I'm downloading it after the stream.
Downloading it and playing it.
After
Getting
this,
one
yeah,
match in.
yeah.
What a beast.
I will try, and by next episode, I will have an actual opinion on it. The only reason we're
Well, I
bringing
think
it up is because I'm on Twitter and I'm in the gaming community of Overwatch and other games.
well, you're a
Um,
grandmaster in Overwatch. Yeah.
I'm a, I'm something. There is a lot of beef between Overwatch players and Marvel Rivals players. You know, the Overwatch players are like, he's copying this character, he's copying this copy. So it's like, I want to see your opinion because you played both games.
As for the arguments, Overwatch fans are going to be kind of protective that like, oh no, my game's not really the hot thing right now. Overwatch's been getting shit on for like 2 years straight at this point, but now there's actually a competitor, and Rivals fans are just kind of like annoying. They're like, ah, look at our game. Ah. It's like it's not X Defiant. Marvel Rivals, I think, is here to stay. I think they made that clear. They got the money for it at least.
Mm.
But X Defiant, like all the X Defiant fans are like, COD killer, ha.
Yeah,
So calm down a bit, but
I think
I,
I think Rivals has done very well from what I've seen to cater to the community with updates and different changes. From what I've seen from an outside perspective, um, it seems like they're constantly adding stuff, whereas Overwatch would go a year with only adding 2 new characters, if I'm correct. You know, we had Maga and then Juno were the only two
pretty
characters
much.
added in the last year I played, and then I quit. Um, and they progressively got worse with their changes to characters. Whereas from what I've seen, Rivals has done nothing but do better. Which I guess it's easier to do better off rip than down the line. But from what I've seen,
Yeah,
the Rivals fans seem to like every update. And again,
yeah,
four new characters in this next update for them.
it's
It's
off to a
crazy.
hot start. I definitely don't expect 4 every single season. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of these were pretty much in development before the game even released because they're doing a Fantastic Four. But I mean, yeah, I think most importantly, and this is what Overwatch killed it, is character design. Their characters themselves, do they look cool? Are they fun to play with? Do they like? Are they just cool? Like, do people like them?
Let's
Well,
be
what
honest.
helps is that it's Marvel.
Yeah,
So all these characters, I mean, they're pretty much. I give Overwatch credit.
they have to
I,
create original
I'll,
characters.
yeah, I'll say this blanket statement. I'm having more fun on Marvel Rivals than I've had since like year one Overwatch, 2016 Overwatch. Honestly, maybe even more. It plays really well to me. That being said, Overwatch deserves credit because those are all OG creations, and it's like huge. I can't think of another game, maybe League of Legends, really, where a video game dev made characters, and not only did they last a long time, they became huge names, and everybody knows them. Whether you've played the game, watched a porn, or just been on Twitter, you know who Widowmaker is. Stuff like that. So that's impressive. And Overwatch, I'll never take that from them. They're a
You
trophy.
can ignore the fantasy. I'm getting cooked in the fantasy. You can ignore it. Me
Yeah,
and
no.
me and the Greek
My
freak
lawyers
himself.
texted.
Me and the Greek freak, freak himself are
Yeah,
going at
it
it
was
right now.
getting nasty in there. The third slur was a lot.
Well, he said
But
something early attacking my team, so I had to attack his nation's guild. So
yeah, that was his entire island of people
yeah,
attacked.
and then he called
But
me
anyway, just to
Taiwanese.
finish it off, I would say Rivals is killing it. There will be a patch down the line where they shit themselves, and someone's gonna be busted. Hell, one of the Fantastic Four coming up could be a bad release, balance wise. Everybody's like, "Oh fuck, game's dead." It'll happen. But yeah, quick updates. The gameplay itself is fun. Done. You don't have to change that really. The gameplay's good. You just gotta balance it. The character designs are already done for you. But I will give them credit. What they're doing into it, I think, are really cool adaptations, and people seem to agree. Some of the best looks for guys like the Hulk, guys like Black Panther, Moon Knight. Other than the comics themselves, you don't. That's the best they've looked. So
Well, I will give credit where
they're
credit's
stamped.
due.
I think they're stamped. At this point.
Overwatch
They're here to stay.
obviously has to have original characters, whereas Rivals is just adding from a catalog of characters already made. The only difference is that Overwatch is very much a skins cosmetic merchant game. It's kind of like Valorant in my opinion. Um, they thrive off of just making as much cosmetics as they can, and
Yeah.
that's how they get the
Rivals
promotion
is.
for their game. Rivals kind of has a leeway where it's like they don't
I
have to
won't.
make these crazy skins because they can just do like variants from like different comics, like like this world's
They will,
Spider-Man,
but I
Miles
won't
Morales
fault.
Spider-Man.
If people are buying it, I have no problem with it
Yeah,
because the consumer wants it. I don't fault Overwatch all the way back to I don't fault Fortnite. Games with DLC that are like not DLC, but even by like level boosters and shit like that. That's kind of scummy. If you're selling cosmetics, completely optional.
no, I
I'm fine with
agree.
that. In Marvel, I mean, each character has a skin. I mean, and they're getting talked about.
That's what I'm saying. I
There's
think
a lot of good ones. Like, I mean, the Psylocke one's trending because it's just full cheek,
I think
just full, full thick meat out there, and
Rivals
that's
is in
impressive.
Rivals is in a good spot for that because on again they kind of got that really good spot where it's like they can either make custom new variations of the skins and call it their own version of that character, or they can go into different comics and be like, well, this is from Secret Invasion comic, or this one's from the Infinity War comic. They can have different variations of different skins. You can have like Miles Morales Spider Man, or you can have
Yeah,
like the future version where he's like mad. They have a really good right now Noir Spider Man. Like they've got. I wouldn't be surprised if they one day add. I feel like Miles Morales Spider Man will be a first add skin eventually.
Spider-Man was gonna have 50 skins. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of they already have one skin on I get the name. I forget the name of it. Where is she? It's a woman with red hair. I'm blanking on her name because I don't watch the movies too much.
Widow, Black Widow.
Not Black Widow, but they will obviously, like, for instance,
Scarlet
blonde hair
Witch.
Black Widow. Scarlet Witch, that's the one. But for instance, blonde hair Black Widow is gonna be a skin, I guarantee it. Scarlet Witch, there's a bit of a thing about it, but Scarlet Witch is kind of like I don't even know. I don't know her background. She's not mixed, but she's like of a darker skin tone. But
Speaking
the
of
woman who
Scarlet,
plays
Scarlett
her,
Johansson. Oh my bad.
what?
My
But
bad.
the woman who plays her in the movie, most recently, is Natalie Portman, who's white as hell. So they put the movie skin in, which changed her skin color, and there's a fight about that. But just to say that they're already doing like different movies, different adaptations. Yeah, they got about 1 million years of content.
Yeah.
All they had to do was nail the gameplay for me. They did it. Done.
Yeah.
I think Marvel Rivals will be played.
They don't do roll queue lock, right?
I think they'll be played almost just as much as they are now 5 years from now. So
They
I'm
don't
thinking
do
maybe
roll
good.
queue lock. Like you can just play 5 supports,
Not yet.
5. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they no lock, and the devs say we really don't want to.
Well,
We
I
don't
think
plan
that's
on doing
kind
that.
of what.
They say
It,
you should be able to have a good team.
see,
And
that's
the games I've played, I'm trash. I'm
yeah.
playing in silver and low gold, high gold, but it's pretty good.
Well, my
You're
thing
gonna
is,
get of every game maybe, and it's viable. You could do 3 healers, 2 damage tank. You could do 3 tanks, 3 healers. That old shit still could be done. You could do 1 tank, 2 damage, 3 healers if you're feeling crazy. Because some healers can one shot. So there's variability you could do if you're good, but
Well, I
I
think
personally I don't mind a open lock. I'm fine with that.
the thing with roll queue is it's what builds and destroys a game. Is in the sense of, for a competitive standpoint, having a roll queue lock makes it even playing field, but it also slows down playing and queue time. And Overwatch, you'll be in a 15-minute queue, whereas Marvel Rivals, you'll be in a 2-second queue because
Oh, yeah,
you're
queues
not
are
looking for
crazy.
queues.
I mean,
Um,
I went to check to see if I was banned from ranked because my internet went out during a game, and in doing so, the game started. Because I was just gonna ping it for 2 seconds to see if it said if you're banned or not, but the
yeah,
queue popped in literally a tenth, so I had to like make my friends sit and wait.
yeah,
Kind of insane.
but yeah, no,
Servers are good. Yeah, servers are good. Not too much. There's a bit of a crashing issue with some of my friends. And apparently, other people have it, so there's some technical issues, but servers
same
are
as
pretty
COD.
good.
Same as COD. It's
Better than COD still.
well, COD has the crashing problem.
COD's
My
probably
only
like one of the worst like structural
yeah.
games in terms of like
as
back end
we
stuff.
as we segue into COD, because that's the only other gaming topic we have.
I need to use a segue. I'm too fat to walk. What?
Yeah, speaking, COD has not done any. Their last two patch notes, I'm pretty sure, has had no weapon changes, no server changes, no anti-cheat changes. But we got a Squid Game update. We got the red light, green light mode. Have you played it yet?
Yeah,
I haven't played it yet.
I did.
I have not played it
I
yet.
played last night.
It sounds really. It looks really fun. I'm not gonna lie. For a COD in game
I played it last night.
limit
There's
time mode.
two modes. One I played, one I didn't. The one I played, red light, green light mode, it was fun. It was red light, green light. You
Yeah.
play it a couple times with your friends. Novelty wears off. It's kind of like Infected, but
Yeah.
you play a few. It's cool. The other mode is just the game, but it's on a rotate. I actually like this one. It's on rotating game modes. So every 2 minutes it just flips. It could be domination, headquarters, team deathmatch, kill confirmed, back to domination. Any game where there's respawns, any game mode with that, it'll flip. So I think that's kind of cool. It's unique. And there's a score streak where you do the red light, green light. If you turn it on, I forget how many kills it is, but you activate it, enemies can't move, or it'll die. Not even like get shown to evaporate. You get the kill.
Fair enough. I haven't seen any of that, to be honest. I only saw the red light and green light mode. I didn't know there was that.
That,
I got on last night, played went straight to ranked. Didn't even touch the update.
Not bad. Not a bad update. I've heard of the update. I saw it announced. I'm like, I rolled my eyes. I'm like, bruh. I don't really care. Still don't absolutely care, but it's a cool game mode. Yeah, it's fun. I would play it a few times with your friends, but it's cool. But that's nothing more than just cool. I mean, the game still got to fix some
Yeah, I mean, other
technical
than
issues that really shouldn't be there at this stage. Because if you gotta get ready for the Warzone drop, that's gonna
well,
be about
we're just about 2.5 months into the game. 3 months? No, basically 3 months. Yeah, just
Pretty much
about
three.
almost evenly 3 months into the game.
still way too much crashing.
Server
way
issues
too
are
many
still a
server
problem.
issues.
Optimization issues, yeah. Not only is the crashing issue still a problem, but for console players, I don't play console, but some of my IRLs do, and some of my friends play. The message of the day sticks on the screen, and you can't get around it on console. So it's like there's just problems where you can't load the game.
Oh, I got a friend that has a NASA computer that's crashing every 5 games.
Yeah, my game. I have a decent PC. I mean, I have an i9 and a 3060. It was just like decent hardware.
You should easily run it on high settings.
And I have lower settings because I play comp. I don't want better FPS.
Yeah.
And I still crash every now and then. Not often, not as often as when the game first dropped, but I still will have crashes. But my problem is with the game is no big ranked updates yet, which isn't a huge problem. The Krieg was the only real problem, and they got rid of it, so it's like fair play. But the problem currently in the game is if you crash or lag out of a comp game, you can't rejoin it. You automatically just lose SR and get kicked out of the game. Like, it will just be like, okay, you have a 30-minute ban, and you lost 50 SR. Every other comp game I've personally played, there's a rejoin system. Overwatch 2, Rocket League, Valorant, League of Legends. Like, I've never played a game where you can't rejoin the session. Especially
Marvel's
if it's
is,
ranked.
Marvel's is a rejoin, but you have to rejoin within like 2 minutes.
Which
And
that's
if you don't,
fine.
they shut the game down. And
Fair.
neither team wins or loses. And the person that did leave gets a 15-minute, I think.
Which
So
like I said, yeah.
it's a little strict. You get 2 minutes, and honestly, if you don't have a really great computer, the shaders. That's one thing Marvel Rivals did work on, the shader compilation at the start. It's long,
Mm.
so some of my friends just mathematically can't load the game in time to get back in. But yeah, and no, you're right. I mean, plus for a game that crashes that much, you cannot have that strict of a
Yeah, because I
rejoin
lost. I lagged out
system.
of.
That's crazy.
I played a week ago. I lagged out of 2 games. This was like, I guess not a week ago. It was like the day after we filmed the podcast thing, so it would have been like Saturday. Actually, it was a week ago.
Episode
But
1 or 6. Yeah.
so I got on, won a couple games. Um, Loading into the fourth, my game crashes while in queue. So then I try to. It crashed the lobby, which isn't a big deal, but I lose 30 SR and I get a 15-minute match ban. Not a big deal. It is what it is, but I don't understand how I'm losing SR before the game starts. It is what it is. We are still in the loading screen, but my game crashed
Yeah, there's a separation there.
because there's a match breaking thing. That's why they have that in place.
Yeah.
Is because people will break match if they get control, and they're trying to prevent people from leaving
I
every
get
time
it.
control gets popped in.
They just gotta. It's gotta be switched. Either
Um,
fixed the tech issues or relaxed it.
so that happens. 15-minute ends. Get into another match. Play the whole match. Win the game. Friend gets off. I'm like, you know what? I'll play one more. I'll solo queue. Win or lose, I'll just play my last game. Halfway through the game, winning the game, we're like point clubbing this shit. Where I'm at like 180 and hard point to like 60. Like we're clubbing these kids. We're destroying them. The server crashes, but only on my end apparently. I'm assuming, I guess. It just says disconnected from servers, and I get kicked to the main menu. My internet never went out. My Discord's still running. Everything's still perfectly fine. Do speed test. Everything's fine. I, press, whatever. I press A to exit out, and I try to rejoin the game because the server crashed. Minus 50 SR. 30-minute match ban. There's like, how am I supposed to do that when your servers can't handle anything? My internet didn't go out. Nothing else went out. My Discord didn't lag out. Nothing else had lagged out. It was literally just I got kicked off the server and it said disconnected from the server. Like,
That's what you get for solo queuing, man. What are you doing?
on God. But other than that, yeah, COD just got to fix their internal issues. I think the SR system's fine, but I think there has to be a rejoin system for comp because
Yeah.
one, the game doesn't end if someone lags out or leaves.
Yeah, it's Call of Duty. You can make a comeback
That's what I'm saying. Like
especially in stuff like Search.
if you
You
lag
have plenty
out
of
in
time
the
to get back.
first minute or two, and then you get back in before the game ends, like you can make a whole comeback in hard point. Control, especially control, having that fourth person in control is like game changer. So if someone lags out in control, you're just screwed. So
Yeah.
they'll
I don't know
figure
why
it
that's
out.
not. That tells me they don't know how they can't make it happen. The
Yeah,
servers
they're-
aren't good enough.
they're
All
in
right.
the
Well,
thing.
how about those Patriots?
Oh, you want to do music first?
Well,
Before
yeah,
we,
music.
let's do
Music.
music before we do football because
Well,
I've
music
got a
first.
few things to say about the Patriots.
That's true,
Um,
that's true. So the new Little Baby dropped. Hey, and like I said, I've only heard the single. I haven't heard the whole album. So
I listened to
better.
the first 4 or 5 songs last night, the night before,
Yeah.
whenever it dropped. The night it dropped, I listened to like a few of the songs and fell asleep. So not like to the album, but like I just got off my computer because I was done for the
well,
night.
I only heard the single, but I mean, it's just to me, Little Baby is just okay. Like, he does nothing like it's not bad music, but it's not like one of my favorites. It's 6 out of 10. It's solid. It's to me the radio hits. He's making his money. I can't
Yeah.
fault the guy. He's a multi-millionaire. He
Yeah,
sold that
what's-
music, but
what's-
it's nothing that's gonna make me go like, wow, this is something special, which is fine. And not everything is. Doesn't have to be. So
Yeah, what was
This-
the album? Wham. What does it stand for again? Who ahead of me? What is it? Who here ahead of me? Am I stupid? What does it stand for?
who here anal? Oh, wait, hold on. Who? Why have?
I can't find Little Baby because when I type in baby, Baby Keem pops up, and then. Little Tron, or Baby Tron. Like, Little Tron.
Um,
Little Tron.
um, Why have Arizona
Oh, who hard
melted?
is me? Who hard is me? My bad.
Who hard is me? I am.
Tatum
What?
Tatum dropped that after the they beat Ant. That was a good one. That was a good one because Ant talked so much smoke and then Tatum pieced him.
See, Tatum. Hey, Tatum he can get testy.
Other than that, we got the Drake and LeBron beef, which I
Yes,
kind of
yeah.
do. I'm not gonna lie,
It's fun.
it's
It's a
funny
good drama, man.
because one, the way people switched up on Drake after the whole Kendrick Drake beef was crazy because like I like Kendrick, I like Drake. I thought it was fun beef. I thought it was fun for the culture, fun for the state of music. We were kind of in a slow spot in music, but the way
Yeah,
y'all are like, it's one or the other. It's worse than NBA Twitter, bro. It's like you guys you can't enjoy music. It's like you have to either be a fan of Drake or a fan of Kendrick. Like no one just enjoys music. Like
it's
it's
bad.
that stan culture. It's
It's
like
bad. It's why you can't have a good beef nowadays. Same with basketball, like you said, because like all the fans get in their feelings.
because
You
it's
tell a Kendrick fan, hey man, see Drake's new album. They're like, I ain't listen to that Drizzle file. I'll never listen to that bullshit pop
well it's
music,
like
pussy. He's not a real rapper. And you ask a
it's
Drake fan, hey, you hear that Kendrick? I'm not listening to that boring
yeah
snooze ass, conscious
it's
rap, goofy ass. You got no emotion.
it's one of those things where it's like Drake dropped a pretty solid freestyles. Now it wasn't a freestyle, but it was just a single. It was called something freestyle, Irish something freestyle. But
Yeah,
he
cause
just another
LeBron, it was LeBron James High School.
okay. It was like
It was the
another.
Fighting Irish. Yeah.
It was another like response to all the like not kind of just a response to some of the allegations and stuff, and
Yeah.
people are like dissing him like they're like, how can you only take Drake at face value, but then everything Kendrick goes is like, oh, you gotta dive deep into it. And it's like there's so much stuff that Kendrick said that wasn't like accurately, like Drake having a daughter, and then it's like people are like, well, Drake said that Kendrick's wife cheated on him, and it's like that was a bad take. But it's like Kendrick had just as bad bars. You know what I'm saying? Like they both had some stinkers in there. But it's like they don't like Drake can't breathe if he releases anything, even if it's good. And it's like
I
you
mean,
guys are
hey,
so like deep in that like.
they dogged him. I'll give it to Kendrick then because he's got his shooters.
Well,
I didn't.
dude, I feel
I
like
honestly didn't. I didn't think he'd have this many. I know Drake's a bigger name, so I expected like, in my opinion.
it's the
This is my
bandwagon.
opinion. My opinion is Kendrick won in the sense of competition, but I come in from bias because I just prefer his music more anyway. That being said, if Drake does the push-ups freestyle, Family Matters, that beats most other people. Those are great tracks. Um, but I didn't. Yeah, it's most. I'll say mostly Kendrick fans, but some just like Rocky fans are getting their shots in. People just hate Drake.
Yeah, this is my thing. My whole
I'm
thing
not
is
gonna
like
say like I've seen reports on Drake going back to like shit when he got signed in like 2009, 2010. I, the guy is not gonna be a saint going to heaven. He's got some sleaze in him, but who doesn't in the pop rap music
yeah, my
industry?
whole thing
There's
is
a
like
lot worse. There's a lot worse people. Everybody say Cardi new album, Cardi new album. Go look up Cardi's rape and sexual assault allegations.
this one. I'm like I don't think Drake's an actual pedophile. Like I get the
No, I
whole
don't think Drake's
jokes.
trafficking women. I think
That's what I'm
he
saying.
is. I would say from what I've seen of him, I never met the guy obviously, but from what I've seen, he seems kind of like maybe a little sleazy. Like I'll believe like the misogynist stuff, and like I'll believe like the you know treats women poorly, not like physically, but just like emotionally, I guess. But that's the worst you can get on a guy. I mean, there's a lot of guys like that in music.
Yeah,
That's the
because I
nature
mean
of it.
like
So, and
one
I mean, if you listen to Kendrick's album, he himself, I'll give
admitted
him,
to like what beating his wife or whatever,
I'll give him his props for honesty, not for
or
beating her,
cheating
but
cheating on her. My bad.
yeah, he comes out and frames it in the music. So, I'll give him his props for honesty, but he's not a good husband. The
Yeah,
guy's not a so.
it was.
It's two flawed people going at it. Musically, I think Kendrick won. I don't think Drake's. I'm surprised people are this on Drake
My whole thing is
about it. I think Drake will release music, the next album, and if it's a good one, this will people will ease up. But
the
he still has
thing is
plenty. Drake still plenty of
oh yeah,
fans.
the Drake is still the most popular artist every single month. It's like
Yeah,
it's in and out. It doesn't matter. Like you guys, people hate on him.
his catalog's insane.
Kendrick may be more popular in the consensus right now, but like if you were to compare numbers, it's like you guys are still streaming Drake's whole albums front to back at more every single month. No matter how many people are like, "Oh, Kendrick won the beef," is like I guarantee you, every single person who's hating on Drake right now has 10 or 15 Drake songs in their
Yeah,
safe songs or
yeah.
just,
It's just it's one thing to say Kendrick won, and it's hell another thing to say you think Drake's a bitch. But musically, you're lying to yourself if you're saying like Drake has never made good music
or
or
doesn't have a
Kendrick
classic. Drake
absolutely
has
is.
classic
Yeah,
albums, man. Drake has classic
you can
albums. It don't matter.
you can like Kendrick more. I personally do, but I still think well I can't think because he is. This is literally the reason the beef was so big.
Two Titans.
This is Magic versus Bird. This is
I mean, the closest thing to compare it to is Nas versus
Drake is
Jay
up.
Z. Like that's like
Yeah,
it's on that level of like two
Drake is up in
Titans going
numbers.
against each other.
Drake is up in numbers. Kendrick's probably up in critical reception with the Pulitzer Prize and all that stuff. So
No, this is my
I
only
mean, but
opinion on it.
it was fun. Now it's just like all right, enough. Like
Yeah, it happened a year
all
ago.
the fans just keep talking about it.
Like, it happened a
New
year
Kendrick
ago.
album's out. Drake's probably got something in the oven.
And my whole thing
move on.
is to kind of end off the music note is Drake has to release another album that's like it has to be here. It has to be like a views level of
Yeah.
like it has
Would
to
you agree
be a heater.
Kendrick
It has
won
to be
it?
like a solo album, like not a lot of features. Maybe
Yeah.
a couple
Would you
features.
agree that? Would you agree Kendrick like won in like the
Um,
competition sense? Like Drake's on the back foot, because that's what I would think.
I will, but I don't think it was a fair fight. Like as much as people are like, oh, it was Drake versus Kendrick, Kendrick, ASAP Rocky, Future, Metro Boomin. He had Rick Ross in there
Rick
attacking
Ross,
him.
Rick Ross
like,
went crazy on him.
Drake
Yeah,
Drake
Rick
literally
Ross is
1v6 and he didn't drop an awful song, to be honest. All of his songs were pretty good besides that one like auto tune or AI one, you know.
Yeah,
The
the
rest
AI
were
one
all
was not
pretty
even a
good.
song. It was just like a troll, and I didn't like the hard part six really.
I guess
It
yeah,
just
that
kinda
was the other
boring.
bad one. But
But
like
by then Kendrick had won.
I think
But
Family Matters was. I still think
that was a
Family
great track.
Matters out of all of the thing it was like Euphoria and Family Matters and then everything else was
I agree.
like
I'd
I don't
go
think
Euphoria. Not Like Us was fun, good track.
it was not
but
good though. It was just fun. It wasn't a good it was not a good like song. It was a catchy fun song and it's on my playlist. It's fun to listen to, but it's like
No, yeah, I
objectively
think.
speaking you're just not that good.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not gonna be like. You don't like listen to lyrics and be like, holy shit.
But
That's
it's
like some of Kendrick's greatest like
cuz it's like
lyricistic work.
push-ups. Push-ups was hilariously fun and it's fun to listen to like drop, but it's like at the same time every single diss in there was calling him short, and then like not like us, every single diss was just trying to call him a pedophile. It's like neither of them were objectively good, but they're both fun to listen
No.
to.
No, I think it was Kendrick going, hey, look at me. I can make a hit.
Yeah,
That's the biggest thing Drake fans are saying about Kendrick. You don't have hits like Drake does.
yeah.
That's his hit. I mean, and they'll say it was off the back of Drake, which there's some truth to it. But that's well, Humble's probably bigger still, but that's already a top 3 song. And I'm sure in a year from now it'll probably be the one. I wouldn't be surprised.
And let's be honest, like
Let's be honest.
you can hate Drake, but you see how much he pulled in, and you can credit Kendrick, but you have to give Drake credit where credit's due. A lot of the hype around all of this was the downfall of Drake and people wanting to hate on Drake.
Yeah.
You get it's statistically proven that you get clicks, you get interactions if you hate on Drake. So when everybody was hopping in to hate on Drake, you can look at all their catalogs and all their
Rick
this
Ross is doing it.
like
Kendrick, I'll say, genuinely doesn't like the guy. Has a problem with him. I can believe it.
yeah, but I feel
Rick Ross said, "Hey, I'm trying to make $5 million
Yeah.
off this guy."
my
He
thing
said,
is
"I'm gonna get that."
the Drake and Kendrick beef is pretty real, but it's like Kendrick just like I feel like the views would not have been as high if Kendrick was dissing someone like
No, if
JID
Kendrick-
or something. If JID and Kendrick went back and forth, it'd be,
be fun.
great, but I don't think it'd be like the
And no one
numbers
did
would not be
numbers.
the same.
It
But
wouldn't be the
it's-
numbers. Now, going forward, Kendrick is considered top dog now. because even beyond Drake, I think Cole had the worst of all three of them.
Yeah.
He came out looking the worst because he completely bailed out after some shit album. So now it's in terms Kendrick over Cole, I think in most people's eyes,
Yeah.
and most people will put Kendrick over Drake as a rapper,
Yeah.
probably at this point. So yeah, if anybody ever goes to Kendrick, I mean, he's now.
I heard a thing
I won't,
about.
I won't call him the next Drake in terms of numbers, but it may be in terms of like. Now you took number one spot. I'll give it to you, but
I
someone else
heard
could be coming first.
Joey was going after him a little
Joey
bit.
Badass.
He was going after him in a little like sneak disses.
He made a little snipe at him, but
No, maybe not sneak disses, but he kind of went at him in a freestyle or something. Or
he was like one of those. To my knowledge, Joey Badass kind of. I'm sorry, he didn't blow up really, but he him and Kendrick were like friendly competition guys. Like remember the Control verse?
Yeah. Well, he
Kendrick
can't. He
did
went at
that.
everybody. He went at everybody.
He went at everybody, but it was like Joey was one of them, and Joey like said something back, and it was like, hey, I respect you, but fuck you. I don't think like Joey. He's on record saying like Kendrick's like. That's like LeBron versus Curry. It's like healthy like they respect each other. It's just they're going at each other. Kendrick Drake, that was just pure hate. It's been a while since we got pure hate in music.
Yeah.
So. Even Drake, like who's ass Meek Mill. That was just kind of like that was never pure hate to me. It didn't feel like pure hate. That was just kind of like him trolling him.
Yeah, I mean.
Pusha T purely hated him.
Yeah,
That was another one.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Drake he got a lot of guys hate him.
Dude, my thing is like I wish like it would have been more fair to see what would have happened. Like
I think Drake should not have gone at everybody at
Family Matters. Like the Family Matters. I think that's one of the best songs that came out of the collective of music that dropped. But he
I think it's Drake's best one of the whole beef. But I think he made a mistake spending a whole 2 minutes on everybody else.
Yeah, because he went at.
It'd almost be a bigger diss to completely ignore him. Like you're not worth my time.
Yeah, I mean, I liked his few verses he had against Kendrick. Nothing crazy, but it was just some fun ones.
No, everything he released other than the last track, and I'm not even gonna count the AI one. That was just him trolling. Other than the last one, the first 3 before that were all great, and he'd win that against 90% of rappers. But
because I
think Kendrick, Euphoria was my absolute favorite. Not Like Us was great, catchiest one. I mean, what's Meet the Grams is that's not even music anymore. That's just like Meet the Grams will go down as like take the music out of it and like the listenability. That's probably gonna be the most like memorable diss track for quite a while. Is it true or not? Yeah, but the shit it worked.
Well, yeah.
Well, my friend. Any other music statements or?
We're gonna have to watch Kendrick
more, but I guess LeBron is
Oh well, my whole thing will again because I didn't get to explain why. I think
we kind of went on a spiral there.
I agree with Drake going at LeBron in the sense that LeBron, the GOAT. I think he's really like the light of the world. He's hilarious. He's hilarious, dude. But
he's my sunshine.
He is very fake in the sense of like
extremely.
You can't be buddy with one person and then instantly hop on the bandwagon of hating on him and then try to be buddy on like it's like over social media you're like, oh, I love Drake, but then you're actively doing stuff that's like completely against him. It's like if you look at like the difference with like SGA, like SGA didn't like meat ride Kendrick when all that dropped, and he didn't meat ride Drake when all that dropped. He was just like,
hey, look at Curry, man. Kendrick fans are going at Curry because they were playing Not Like Us when they won some exhibition games. Hey, Curry was going, turn that shit off. We don't want to hear that. And he said, I stand with Drake. Curry's his wife's cousin works for Drake, apparently. I learned that. So he's like firm, like he's probably honestly almost as strong as LeBron in terms of taking a side. But I mean, hell, LeBron had the whole meme 2 years ago where he lies about everything.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things like, bro.
He's Drake, a liar. The dude is he's a liar.
It is what it is. I think it was kind of like.
I think he was like.
Kind of doggy.
Because he's always like Kendrick. He's always like Drake. He's probably thinking like, all right, let's go, fellas. Good competition in a rap game. And then he heard it all and he's like, what the fuck? I'm surprised he went to the pop out.
That's again.
I'm kind of surprised he did that.
I don't.
It was one thing to say like I prefer Kendrick, fair. Yeah. But to go to the pop out, That whole show is predicated on "fuck you, Drake." Everybody who went there is actively saying "fuck you, Drake." I don't like
Not
you.
only is it like it was kind of for the West Coast culture. Like, dude, you're from Ohio. You're not from LA. You're from Ohio.
Right.
Like Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan being there made sense because they're from the area. Like you just pop out at this pop out like you're from the West Coast, brother. You're East Coast. You're more central and East Coast and West. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you're not a part of
But
that.
Drake does lose aura points for having a guy he tattooed on him
And that
for
was
a
my
year.
other thing was like
He does lose some aura points there.
I don't see a problem with that. Like people are trying to dog Drake. Like, well, why would you get a man tattooed on you? Like how many of you guys have Michael Jordan and Kobe tatted on
Yeah,
you? You
he
know
was
what I'm saying?
early.
Like,
When shit, he got that like. Let me get that LeBron
probably
tattoo.
around when he dropped the LeBron greatest.
That Forever song.
Yeah, I would around probably around there. I would guess. But then again, like people are acting like it's just LeBron. Like he has LeBron, Wayne, and somebody else. It might be Kobe.
Well, he got Curry on him too. He's at the 30.
Oh, then yeah. Well, he like I
He's
said,
got,
he.
it's kind of.
It's not like a I got another man tattoo. Like bro,
I
it's
wouldn't
LeBron
get the
James.
I wouldn't get the tattoos. I won't call it corny, but
You acting like
it's a Drake move.
well, my
It's a
thing
Drake.
is
I'll
like
just say that it's a Drake
we're
move.
acting
It's
like
corny.
there's not over 200 million people on this earth right now that have a LeBron, Curry, or Michael Jordan or Kobe tattoo on them at this moment. There's probably more than 200 million then. So it's like, why is it a problem when Drake got it?
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean,
Especially when
I think,
when they were supposed to be locked in, like homies like that, like
yeah, he's got the high school tattoo. He's got literally the Irish on the jersey.
yeah. So
This hurts him, man. This hurts Drake. You can tell it's personal.
well, I mean, even in the song when he dropped it, you could tell he was like low key affected by the fact
Yeah,
that
like come
LeBron
on.
switched up on it. Like, let's be honest.
That's one of his heroes, yeah. And then he's like, Kendrick hated me for his whole life probably, but
Because
really
again,
LeBron.
this is
Not even DeRozan. DeRozan, who cares? You're just like a one-time All-Star. LeBron?
yeah, it's like again, I don't find it weird. It's like, bro, that's your idol. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's
So,
like, is what it is. Let's hop into football.
footy ball.
Now I'm gonna be honest.
So, tell me about those Patriots, man. Tell me how you feeling.
So, we had the number one pick, and Lord knows that we were all begging for Travis Hunter, praying to God that we get a good wide receiver and or cornerback, whichever one we need. Right, that's the right position.
Yeah, receiver or cornerback.
Okay.
You're looking for.
So
You got the QB. Drake May's looking like the guy.
yeah,
You
so
need that skill player.
it's the last game of the season, right? Correct.
Yeah, we're done.
Patriots
There's-
go around
you can run
and
out, but-
troll. They bench all their normal players, run their second, third stringers,
True.
and instead of telling them to lose the game, they win the game, and now we lost our first round pick. Now we're going to like fourth or fifth. I don't know exactly yet, but we lost the number one pick, which is going to lose the chances of probably getting Travis, and there's just no sense to it because it's like we needed to pair Drake May with a good wide receiver, especially after how we saw how bad our other past picks were with these wide receivers. We desperately needed to get Travis Hunter. And on top of that, there should all like hopefully we get some offseason moves. Hopefully we get T Higgins. Hopefully, we can try to get T Higgins before he goes, like somewhere else. But poor decision by the Patriots coaching staff and higher ups. I don't think Elliott Wolf is a good I think he's the general manager if I'm not mistaken. He's been awful with drafting the last 2 or 3 years, 4 years. He's been awful. It's just rough. It's just rough watching this team. Like I like seeing go from this is the desperation of going from a dynasty to going to like bottom of the barrel trash. This is depressing because I'm not gonna lie, I never experienced the Patriots as a losing team up until the last couple of years. It's the same thing where it's like I never experienced the Celtics as a winning team because I watched them when they were kind of like losing and we had like, but now I've got a good Celtics team, so it's like I got to see like the rise of the Celtics. But now I'm seeing the downfall of the Patriots, so it's like it's very depressing to see that they just can't draft right. They can't
It's
signings, everything like re-signing important pieces for defense and offense, not re-signing people because you don't want to give them money. It's like now we have the most cap space in the league. It's stupid all around.
It's really hard to win. Honestly, I think in football more than any sport. But what they did for so long with Brady and them is no one's gonna root for them anytime soon. That's for sure. But this downfall, yeah, I mean, they could lose. Shit, starting this century from 2000, I think they had 20 straight winning seasons, 19 straight. I mean, it's the greatest dynasty, maybe, in professional sports.
I think the only
I think you could argue
the
Russell
Spurs.
Celtics.
I was going to Spurs because
I'd say it's greater than the Spurs. I
well,
think you could argue Russell Celtics, and I think you could argue Jordan Bulls,
well,
but
well,
and maybe like some old Yankees team.
can I
Stuff
be a
like
hater
that,
real
but
quick?
Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
Jordan Bulls. Let's call it the Pippen Bulls because one, Jordan couldn't make it past the playoffs the first round without Pippen. I'm not. I actually love Jordan. I don't really know why. I just kind
Pippen
of
was
like.
a better player.
I kind of know. I kind of
Well,
like. Hating.
Rodman was the real player.
I kind of like hating, but like people don't like people would never acknowledge that Rodman and Pippen elevated Jordan's career and by a long shot. And
Well, they didn't do fadeaway mid-range.
there's no
free throw jumpers.
there's no dynasty
Fun
without
dunks.
Pippen and Rodman, but no one's gonna. It's
There
Jordan.
never
Jordan,
is. There's no
Jordan.
Spurs without
But no, what I'm
Parker,
saying is
Ginobili. There's no Lakers without Kobe and Shaq working together.
Jordan
with
had
good
multiple
guys
losing
like
seasons.
Fox.
Jordan had multiple losing seasons before. So it's hard to
I
call.
know.
But it is a good championship dynasty. But I like the Spurs in the sense of like there was a 20-year gap where they were winning like every 2 or 3 years. Like they had like what?
They were always a good team for.
They, what I'm saying like they were the
Whether
closest
they
thing
won
to
or
the,
not.
in my mind to the Patriots in the sense that like they didn't win every year, but it was like every 2 or 3 years they were just winning.
Well, it's just that football and basketball. Basketball's a little older, but football formulated around. We're counting Super Bowls and we count older championships too. But for football, around the 50s, 40s is when these stats start counting. The Patriots have the most Super Bowls ever with just this run, and I think that's 6.
Yeah.
In the NBA, you have the Celtics and Lakers that are both, I believe, Celtics are at 18 now, Lakers at 17.
Yep.
And that's including some older, like, kind of titles
Yeah.
for both. So,
Well,
to me, it's harder to win in the NFL than the NBA, I guess is what I'm saying. And so to
Well-
do it on that level, to me, makes it the greatest dynasty in American sports. So, if the
I agree.
Patriots
I
miss,
agree.
I know it's tough now, and you probably weren't watching football too closely when they were killing it, but the Patriots are due a few goofy years, but they got the QB. That's literally like 80% of it, getting your franchise QB. I mean, at least I think May is. Maybe I'm getting a little too ahead of myself, but he looks good.
no, he's every single.
You
They're
get a good
saying-
QB, a good coach, and just a bunch of players that want to like really are trying hard. You can make the playoffs.
Well, from
You
what
can squeeze
I've read is like, again, I'm not too big into football, but from what I've read from a lot of sources, is that like if they were to do a redraft, Drake May probably would have went first. Over Jaden Daniels, even though Jaden Daniels had a better season, but I guess I guess
mean,
they're just valuing and
it's
projecting
honestly
May pretty high.
it's honestly a what do you want. They're both on. They both look like really good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put one over the other in terms of potential. I think they're both going to be starters for 10, 15 years. So it's just a matter of what do you want. Jaden Daniels is a runner. Drake May's probably a better pure passer. Caleb
Drake
Williams
May
is
can
still.
run,
I think Caleb Williams is still a great quarterback, just in an iffy situation.
Yep.
Michael Penix Jr. Falcons had a great game. I don't know why he got drafted out of Falcons, but he's going to be good. So
Whoever that is.
Michael Penis Jr. is
Oh.
his full name. Yeah,
Michael
Peters.
Porter Jr.
Michael Porter.
Never
Penis
passed
Jr.
around.
Well, this guy passes. That's the thing.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, the Patriots. Hey, rough, long seasons, but hey, they've made their stamp. They stamped. I think they'll be back though. I mean, there's still like you play for the Patriots. There's like even with Brady gone, Belichick gone, the owner's probably about to die soon.
Sure,
You put a Patriot, yeah, Kraft. You put the Patriots jersey on, you're like, okay, I'm a Patriot. Like I gotta like play. Like there's some expectations. Like the Spurs have the same vibe. Like the Spurs, like last few years in the plan, are still like, all right, any day now they're gonna be fighting for a title again. They probably will be soon, but no, they'll be. I think the Patriots will be back into a. I don't see them hitting the Super Bowl. It's hard to predict football. It really is. But I think they could be fighting for wild card spots and playoff spots within. If they get if Drake May's the truth and they get a good coach here, this coach hiring is important because it's your quarterback, your rookie quarterback.
Well, I think
They could be in the playoffs in 3 years.
a lot to do with drafting. We've been drafting really awfully. Our wide receivers that we drafted haven't been coached well, or just not having good enough player development.
Yep.
Our O line sucks. Our defense, our defense is still solid, but they're a lot worse than they were in past years because they didn't re-sign a lot of people.
They're also hung out the drive by the offense a lot. It goes both ways too.
We have a very good cornerback in Gonzo. He's Christian Gonzalez. That's his name, I think. Christian something. I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
pronouncing
Christian
that right.
Gonzalez.
He's been a top 3 cornerback
Yeah.
in the league.
Well, that win,
Arguably
that win
top
puts him
2,
into
top 1.
that win puts him into 4th on the draft, not even 2nd or 3rd. So you lose 3 spots.
That's what I'm saying. So that means you're
Quarterback.
probably.
It'll be Travis Hunter and probably 2 quarterbacks. So
Well, the first team needs a.
you might see the Patriots get Ginty.
Well, didn't Tennessee need a quarterback? Or do you think they're gonna stick with
They got Levis, who's young, but he looks like garbage. I think they go for. I'm not surprised if Sanders goes first.
I heard there was.
Even though he's kind of like.
They were saying that this is probably one of the most talented running back draft years of all time. Like,
There's a stigma about running backs. They don't draft one because they last 5 years, and any running back can be plugged in and worked. But Ginty might. I mean.
Well, they're saying I saw
The
something.
Patriots just might get. They might just get like a really good offensive lineman.
Well, I was
Like,
just.
hey, let's build from the core.
Yeah. Well, I saw something that like said that this statistically is like one of the best years in like running back prospects drafting, because like all of the running backs in this draft are like insane. Apparently, they're saying like there's just a really good running back class.
There's a lot of. This is a really good draft in general. There's a lot of talent.
Well, what Shader Sanders? You got I don't know if I pronounced that right, but Travis Hunter.
Yeah, Shadur
Ginty,
Sanders, Cam Ward,
that other quarterback that was like a win now quarterback.
Quinn Ewers is coming out. Who else am I thinking of?
I don't know.
one
I
more
just heard
guy.
there's a lot of good ones. Tight ends. There's a lot of just good players. Just a good draft.
I
class.
think. I honestly, at this point, the Patriots are gonna pick a lineman. Because you need a good core, you need a good O line, you need a good D line. I think it's harder to find elite linemen than elite receivers. So I don't think a bad draft. It's boring, especially for a bad team. You want to see that splash, but I don't think a bad draft picks an elite lineman.
Well, we have a bad GM coach.
Plus, you got to protect the rookie. You got to
Offensive
protect your young
coordinator.
quarterback.
We've got an awful everything down the line. So we
Coaching's
shall
gonna
see.
get revamped.
We
You'll
shall
see.
see if anything goes with drafting. That's going to be questionable.
This will be a very different team next year.
But
That's that. I mean, should I move on to some basketball action?
yeah, let's get into some. I feel like there's no point in talking about awards. Nothing really changed in a week. I think
Nothing too much.
I
I
think-
will give
I'm not going to give SGA any
to
props.
not you're not gonna like hearing this. I got SGA at number 2 now. behind
No, I'm
Jokic.
fine with that. I'm fine with that. But I don't think people are going to be like, oh, he's better than Jokic. No. Okay.
Jokic, no, the Jokic Wemby, that was really fun.
No, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this.
But I will say Jokic, SGA, Tatum, Giannis. Those are my top 4 at this hour.
People
But
are
it's
calling
really every day it's changing.
People are calling SGA the best scorer in the league because he's
Most-
the only person who scores in that OKC team.
Most consistent, you can have an argument.
Yeah,
not
but
best.
I think Tatum is still a more dynamic scorer. We got bodied today in the second half.
Better
Pitiful,
three-point
pitiful second half. I'm not gonna defend it. I don't care about the whistle. The whistle was awful in the second half. I thought it was great, great reffing the whole first half. I don't know what happened in that fourth quarter. It went from like well balanced reffing to like they just ticky tack fouls, like just ridiculous fouls.
Yeah, it's frustrating with Thunder games. I don't know. I got biased because I don't like them, but
But it was one of those things
Just
where
like-
like Tatum like got the ball bounced off the rim. Tatum dunked it. I forgot who it was on, but someone clearly hit Tatum's arm. Didn't get a call. But then next play, SGA drives in, barely gets tapped, and he gets 2 shots. It's stuff like that where it's like if you're calling it one way for a tic tac foul, you gotta call it both ways. but they only call it one way. Is the ticky tack foul problem? Is like I wouldn't mind ticky tack fouls if it's even, but it's like they call it only one way for the OKC. Again, the free throw discrepancy isn't the problem. It's the ticky tack fouls, like the momentum change of they get shot out of bounds 4 times in a row when it was like clearly Jay Will is the one who hit it out of bounds, but they're calling it on Luke Cornett. It's stuff like that. It's like the whistle was going one way, but again, that's not the problem. There's no defense or excuse for Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Drew Holiday to go scoreless in the second half on a single point from either of our 3 starters in the second half is ridiculous. Jaylen Brown had a great first half. I think the only reason we were in that game in the first half was because of Jaylen Brown. He was absolutely destroying them. But the problem is, the second half, because Jaylen Brown was the star of the show for the night, and Jason Tatum was very quiet, they started blitzing Jaylen Brown, doubling him, and people are like, oh, Jaylen Brown doesn't get doubled or doesn't see the coverages that Tatum and SGA and all of them see. Jaylen Brown was getting blitzed like off screens. He was getting blitzed, doubled at half court, like because it was just one of those nights. But it's like he can see coverages,
but, yeah.
And it's like love Jaylen Brown to death. He's improved in playmaking, but the one thing that I didn't like is that there was no set plays in the second half around this Jaylen Brown lineup. So when he did get blitzed, he was just panic throwing and then lets turnover. But it was like the 3 turnovers that he had, I don't want to blame him for. People are like, oh, he has to have better handles. He's getting blitzed by 2 players. No one's setting screens. No one's rotating. There's no set play. There's no play motion. We're all just standing in the corner. Sometimes this it does get frustrating because he's going to be the one blamed for it. But it's like there was no help and there's 3 other starters on the floor.
The blitzed action is always, it's hard to say. Watching the Warriors, I see Curry get doubled every time coming past half. No one else is shooting worth a shit. And sometimes he throws a dumbass pass, and you're like, yeah, what are you doing? Sometimes no one's running around to get open, and he turns it over, and you're like, well, what is he supposed to do? So it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Does he need to be better than that? Yes. Will he be better?
That's what I
yes.
said, yeah.
Will coaching be better? Yes. I don't think they expected that. I think the Thunder partly outcoached Missoula here. I think it was really good defense from the Thunder. I would say this was not the Celtics shitting themselves.
Well,
this
then
is the
again,
Thunder playing great basketball.
I disagree. I will prop the Thunder defense. Great defensive team. We already knew this, but great defensive team. But we shot like career lows, and I don't want to give credit to the Thunder's defense that much for that. It's like sometimes there is just thinkers. Like it doesn't matter how good a defense is. Your 3 starters not scoring in the second half is unheard of. Even if they're like Jaylen Brown didn't shoot a shot in the second half. I don't think he shot maybe 1 shot in the second half. He shot 3 shots. 3 shots in the second half. I remember he got blocked by Hartenstein once. The other time, I think he got fouled, but they didn't call it. It was when he baseline drove around Dort. Dort was kind of holding him, and he drived into contact and Hartenstein and didn't call Hartenstein. But I thought Hartenstein was in the restricted area. Again, that's stuff I had to watch back, see how it really looked. But
yeah, I think it's
ticky-tack fouls.
It's 2 things, and some Tatum slander inbound. This is the issue I've seen with some Tatum games in the past is that when Jaylen Brown is doing it and they're doubling him, Tatum's got to go beat his guy. One-on-one, beat KD. This is a game where Tatum has to match SGA. Now, he has to drop 35. He has to shoot more. Now, there's variance in this. The Celtics shoot the most threes. Pritchard bricking, D. White bricking, Holiday bricking, Porzingis bricking. Everybody's bricking. So there's variance there.
This is my other thing I wanted to mention. Celtics shot like 20% from the 3, and they shot like 40% from the 2. Again,
yeah, that's when you can't calm down. Like give it to Tatum or Jaylen Brown.
Well, my thing is,
Brown's get doubled. Get it to Tatum. Let him just post up one-on-one again.
When Brown was getting blitzed, is when Tatum was out. So it was 4 starters on the floor. They were doing a very heavy Jaylen Brown lineup to feed Jaylen Brown because he was doing so good in the first half. And I liked the lineup, but I wish Derek White or Drew would have helped more. There was no help off ball. There was no off ball help in this lineup because there was no set plays. Again, they went scoreless in the second half. Those 3 players.
The guard play was where the Thunder.
The bench was awful. We had an awful bench night. We had a Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard combined for 1 for 10 shooting.
Yeah.
Clap it up for them. They were running laps out there.
When you shoot the most threes, you're gonna have these games. So, but shout out to the Thunder still. I think
they played a great game. They played a great all around game.
Moved to coaches Dagenau. Dagenalt. I don't know how you pronounce it. I think Dagenalt.
Well,
Good rotations. I thought he was a
this is the
step ahead
one.
of
This is
me.
the one thing I will say. I disagree with the rotations. I think the SGA lists minutes for the OKC were awful. When it was Jalen Brown versus J Dubs and Hartenstein versus Porzingis with no SGA on the court, that's when the Celtics were catching their leads. When
Oh
Jalen
yeah,
Brown was just running laps around them.
but I think that's
But
natural.
then they
The
changed.
Celtics.
They
The
changed some
Celtics.
lineups.
The Celtics number two is Jalen Brown, Jalen Williams. There's a gap. That's not
Yeah,
close.
and I think it was finally noticed it. And I did see
Yeah.
some. I'm a J Dub fan, but I did see some tweets. That I finally was like, okay, this is what we needed because there were some unreal
good player.
conversations.
He's a
But
good player. He's not there yet.
My
He's not-
favorite,
he's not touching Jalen Brown yet. He's
My
not in
f-
those conversations.
my favorite tweet that came out was a Chrysler looks like a Phantom until a Phantom pulls up, and they showed the two comparisons from J Dubs and Jalen Brown, and Jalen Brown was obviously the
Yeah.
better player.
I like Dubs, but he was
No, they were.
he was not great this game.
He's,
This was an SGA win for the most part, offensively speaking. No one else. I
No,
mean, Aaron
I-
Wiggins again. Shout out Aaron Wiggins, underrated player.
SGA had a game, but I don't think it was
SGA
an
had a good
SGA game. It was very much a defensive game. They played a great defensive game. Again, I
It
think
was
their
a
best.
defensive game, but I'm just strictly talking on the offensive end. He was the best player on the court offensively.
I mean, it's hard to say because, like, dude,
this is relatively low scoring for modern NBA. This game, so
Like,
I'll give him credit for that.
I really do feel
He
like
had a great fourth quarter too.
that first half, the best player on the court looked like Jalen Brown until that second half, and that's when
I
SGA
agree,
took
but
off.
when you consider the whole body of work,
when
he had a great fourth quarter.
and I can agree with that. I
give
think,
SGA
but Tatum
props.
scored 15 in the second half. Tatum had a good second half. It's just everybody else disappeared.
Tatum had a pretty good game, but unfortunately with
Well,
those games,
He had
with his
26
bench-
and 10. Like, we're acting like he had a bad. He didn't have a good bad game. He took 13 shots or something.
No, I'm
like
saying I'm saying he had a pretty good game, but when you're a star, you have different demands, and when your bench is shitting itself, and your coworker's getting trapped when you're off the court, you need to come in and just ball hog.
Well,
And whether it's a win or lose, I wish I had seen Tatum take more shots.
well, that's
to be
what I
honest.
felt like. Is I felt like when Tatum came in, he started hooping, but then I think Jalen Brown got iced out of the game, and that's what set us off a little bit. But the biggest problem with the
rhythm
rotations,
was never in the second half. The rhythm was fully
the
off. It never
the
got
biggest problem with the rotations, from what I saw, was with the bench not scoring. Besides, I guess Al Horford, is when these lineups were switching, Tatum was running with the bench unit. You can't run Tatum alone with the bench unit if the bench unit's doing that bad. Drew
Well, you
or
can't do anybody
KP
alone with the bench unit. They're gonna get doubled.
realistically in this game alone, it should have been KP, JT, and Derek White, and then Drew, Jalen, and Horford. Because without SG on the court, you don't need Drew and Derek White on the court. If we're being honest, and Horford should be able to run his minutes with Hartenstein. You know,
No, I think again, all this,
having four starters
matters.
out and then Tatum playing with 5 bench players just wasn't the play.
all of this matters to the game. But the most important thing, they were just missing shots.
Mhm.
Great defense. Shout out to the Thunder's defense. Was part of the reason they were missing, but the Celtics are a better team than what they did, obviously, and they missed a lot of threes. It's a variance. You know, you shoot that many threes, you're gonna miss them. White, Holiday, Pritchard, Hauser,
They
all
actually-
bad games.
I don't
So-
think they shot that many threes. They only shot like 30. I don't want to say they shot more than 30, but I could be tripping. I think it was just a lack of rebounding in the second half was off. We had like a 25 to like 10.
He shot 9
Mhm.
for 46.
Okay, yeah, that's a stinger. That's 23%.
Yeah, 19 from 3, 36 from field goal. Just, you know. And, you know, I'd take a look at some of the, what if I can bring up the better numbers? Box score here. For ESPN.com. But, yeah, it's just one of those games where 46, you know, they'll make 25 of those next time they shoot 46. They'll shoot over 50%.
I don't like.
But this time it was.
I hate being on Twitter because it's like, okay, so let's play like a blame game. It's like Jalen Brown, and it's like Jalen Brown's an awful player. I can't wait till he gets injured. And it's like, y'all are just stupid, bro. I don't think the Celtics made it past the first or second round if Jalen Brown's out, and I don't think the Celtics would make it past the first or second round if Tatum is out. The difference between Tatum and Brown being out in a big game,
Derek White,
in a
2
playoff
of 11
game?
from 3.
yeah, but and he's shot 50% the last 4 games. So it's like,
Yeah. Porzingis 1 of 6, Drew 0 of 4, Jalen Brown 1 of 6, Hauser 1 of 5. No one shot at all over 40%.
and I will
let alone
give
50.
I will
The
give
best 3-point shooter percentage-wise was Tatum, 2 for 6.
Brown,
Complete brick all the way down.
Jaylen Brown has regressed a little bit in 3-point shooting this year. I don't know if it's his regression, but it's just more of a he's been very hot or cold this season compared to other seasons. But
Yeah, he's gonna find that.
But my thing is his rhythm's been off at three. I don't know what it is. It's been off, but you take away the 1 for 6 from three, he was
A lot more games to go.
He was what 7 for 13, 7 for 12.
If he never shoots it from twos, he was
7 for 12.
7 for 13.
Okay, 7 for 13. That's over 50%. He's been phenomenal. He's really picked up his field again. He's really picked
Best
up from
plus
the field.
minus of all starters. You know,
What was he? Was he minus 2?
minus
3?
7.
Minus 7. Okay, that's not bad.
Porzingis had the worst, minus 17.
Well, then
Porzingis dropping 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 turnovers. That's a for his stakes. That's a bad game. You know, you need more than that, especially shooting wise. So
to be fair, he had
just
a pretty good. Again, it was first half they played great, in the second half.
Yeah, no, everybody played great first half. It was a complete failure. 27 points and a half. That's an average quarter for the Celtics, and they had 27.
Again, worst half since 2012. Like that's a.
Yeah.
You can give the credit where credit's due. That's a fluke game. It's a fluke game.
Shit happens.
Yeah, it's one of those fluke stinkers. That is what it is. I'm not really upset about the loss. It was a good wake up call. Like, hey, when you see him again, you better fitty ball him. It's like the same thing as when we played the Wolves. I was like, yo, you better 30 ball the Wolves. Like, and they played a great game against.
Good series though. Want to see that finals? Objectively, as a basketball fan, that's the best finals we got.
What, Celtics Wolves or Celtics OKC?
Celtics Thunder. I think that could be a 7-gamer.
I think that'd
be tuned in for that, especially if they get it. They're saying they might get Cam Johnson. There might be number 1. That's big. Because if the Thunder struggle on one thing, it's probably 3-point shooting. They get Cam, man. Ooh-wee. I don't know. That's a 7-game series. That's a 7-game
Their
series.
team dynamic just changed with Cam, because then you have to bench somebody, and who are you benching?
Yeah, you're probably getting Dort out of there.
But then again, that's your defense drops.
It does, but Cam's a good.
No, he's a great defender. He's a good defender. I just think the perimeter defense drops when you get rid of.
It drops, but his shooting, it's such an increase in shooting. You gotta do it. Either way, I'm looking forward to that.
Then again, Lou Dort shot like 40% from the 3 today. So.
Shout out to Lou Dort. What a fucking asshole. Well, how about real quick this Jimmy Butler guy? We can do the tier list after this, unless you got anything else. But this Jimmy Butler guy, how about what's going on at Miami Heat? We have what it takes to beat the Celtics. Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler.
No, you
as usual, it's
Jimmy
about
Butler.
on time. So it's another Jimmy Butler explosion where he's the problem of the team. Pat Riley deserves some heat too. He's not really handled this too well either. But Jimmy Butler is a diva.
To be fair, Pat Riley doesn't seem like he seems like a good GM, but he seems like a very my way or the highway. He seems like he hasn't done right by any of his players.
He clearly has the success as a coach and GM. I won't take that from him, but you got to be flexible. He seems like an asshole.
Yep.
Enough players
have been run out.
There's a line of respect your elders and respect your superiors. And this many players think he's an asshole. Where it's like, all right, I think it's part of this is his fault. Jimmy Butler's a diva. Jimmy Butler's causing these problems himself a lot.
Jimmy Butler is a locker room demon. I don't care how much he looks like. People love him. People love that aura. Whatever you want to say.
He lost that aura.
He ran himself out of the Wolves. He ran himself out of the 76ers, out of the Bulls. He is not a single team where he plays himself up as if he is a max contract player, still at this ripe age, that can bring you a championship, but he has not proven he can bring you a championship. Will he get you to a championship? Maybe. He's done it twice in Miami. Give him credit where credit's due, but overperformed.
He's had some great runs in Miami. He's had some great runs, but it's over.
My thing is, he's had all-time great teammates, Hall of Fame teammates, arguably, and he has done nothing but sell in every single, every single team he has gone from, oh, I love playing for this team, to, oh, I can't stand this team, I want to have this team.
I can't say he's sold results-wise. On the court, he's had some elite playoff series. Those 2 runs with the Heat were both great, especially the first one in the bubble.
I think regular season.
That being said, every single time
underperforming in the regular season.
That's fair, but he hasn't played a regular season game like he cares since 2014.
Well, that's my thing. That's underperforming.
But he's the problem. He's a diva. He's clearly got a huge ego. Great player. He's done a lot in his career.
I don't even know if I
But
want to call him a great player. He's not an all-time great. He's not a Hall of Fame player, in my
he's
opinion.
not an all-time great, but I think he's done great things. I'm going to call him a great player,
I think
personally.
he's closer to
But
good than great. He's in the grand scheme of things, leading your team to 2 finals is a big accomplishment, but when you look at like the regression through every series, it's like when do other people get credit for cashing checks that he couldn't? It's like versus the Celtics, Caleb Martin had a better series than Jimmy Butler, but no one talks about that. Bam had some great series. Tyler Hero in that finals stepped up, but no one wants to talk about anybody but Jimmy Butler. And it's like I get he's the star player, but it's like it's not just a Jimmy Butler show. Like we've had Miami team where Bam is averaging 20-10, Tyler Hero is averaging great numbers. You have your Jaime overperforming, Caleb Martin overperforming, Max Strus overperforming, Gabe Vincent overperforming. Like this hasn't been a Jimmy Butler show like people make it out to be.
I'll agree with you only for the last playoff run. But I think the first one with the Heat was probably the most impressive individual playoff run, win or lose, I've seen since like LeBron 2018. I'll give him credit for that.
Um,
Just isolating a playoff run, that's
Kawhi Leonard
top
2019.
better than that, I'd say, in
I
terms of
disagree
individual
100%.
performance.
I
would
just
put that on my
nope,
of
nope.
what I've been since I've been watching basketball since 2010 ish. That's on my top 3. The Jimmy Butler
No.
bubble run.
No, you're
But
you're saying that Jimmy Butler beating a that year, no offense, an injured Celtics team and a injured Bucks team because that was the year Middleton was out is more impressive than Kawhi beating a fully healthy Celtics team, a fully healthy 76ers team with Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, and Embiid and Tobias Harris. This is like an all-time great team on paper, and then also beating that Bucks. No,
That is
no,
your Tobias Harris.
that Kawhi run is arguably
Shout out Kawhi. It's
no.
for me. It's right below it. League's better team around him than that bubble Heat team, I'd say. They overperformed. It's one of the greatest playoff series. I put it right below Butler for me, but I'm giving Butler the edge on pure individual. Kawhi Leonard's a better player. Kawhi Leonard's a better teammate. Better at pretty much everything. But just for that month of basketball, Jimmy Butler was like, what's happening? So I'll give him credit for that.
I don't know if I
Anyway, yeah.
agree with that,
But going back
to each
to
their
that,
own.
no, I respect that. But going back to that, I'd call him. He's done great things. I'll call him a great player in the league. A lot of greats. Not an all-time great, obviously. Not
What
all
is he? What is he? A
But he's a great player, and he's done a lot of good things. But he is, personality-wise, seems like an absolute demon. Honestly, I don't see a single team that even really wants him that bad. He seems like he just caused problems. He's not worth the money. I don't know where I'd see him in the league.
The
at this point.
Rockets?
Some say Rockets. I don't
the
like that.
Rockets. I think he'd fit on the Rockets. I think under Ime he'd fit on the Rockets.
Maybe it's just so much money, and he's just not going to try that hard. I mean, does he have another playoff series like that in him? No. Does he have another playoff series as a first option in him? I don't think so.
Well, that's the problem.
Not like contender.
I don't think he's a true first option player.
Yeah,
like,
and you can play through St. Goon with Jimmy Butler. That seems like the kind of guy he'd
my
get
thing
mad
is I think he has regarded himself as a number one option for so many years when he hasn't been, and it's like
I think he's been the number one option.
again, I have to give credit where credit's due to other players, and it's like people hype up Jimmy Butler for his playoff runs, but it's like they never would have made playoffs if it wasn't for everybody else in the Heat because Jimmy Butler didn't play the regular season. Like again,
He played. He just didn't play to the level he did
when
in the
he's
playoffs.
he was playing 30 games
He still
a year.
played it. He still played in the regular season.
When he's playing 30 games.
He just turns it up for the playoffs.
But what I'm saying, but it's like I just disagree, man. Like he's never truly been a first option player. Like he's not meant to be a first option. That's why they never won in the championships because they never were meant to be a first option player.
That is fair, but as a first option, the fact they made 2 finals, I don't think either one they really should have made on paper, I think is a boon toward him. That should be, I think, celebrated as impressive. Regular season wise, yeah, he's not going to do much. I mean, he has played. He's very meticulous in how he plays. The last 7 seasons, he has played between 55 and 65 games every time. He knows what he's doing. He knows when he takes his back-to-backs off. He knows in that. He's never averaged more than 23 a year. But it's good enough to get there. His team holds him up, but I would call him the first option on that Heat team.
No, he's the first option. I just don't think
His
he's
entire
meant to
tenure
be a
there.
first
It's just
option.
that he's not a good leader, and he's not a good locker room presence to what I hear. And this is what's happening now is largely his fault again. But yeah, just to round it up, I mean, I don't think him. Side note, by the way, what Bam Adebayo looks like booty with a side ass.
No,
That brother was
I've
playing
got no words for him.
horrible.
I've got
I mean,
no
is he-
words.
He looks like he's given up completely. He might need to get.
I think
I think they need to clean house.
unfortunately,
Tyler
he's a
Hero needs
Boston Celtic.
Tyler Hero needs to go get on a good team.
What are you gonna
He's
do if
looked
Bam
great.
ends up in Boston?
That'd be impressive. But that means Sam Hauser's a Heat player, and that means that Sam Hauser's dropping 35 a game on the Celtics when they limit to the play.
I'm telling you, when we trade swap Cornette, Tingis, and Hauser for Bam, or when Bam signs with the Celtics, yeah, it's bound to happen.
If Pat Riley's still breathing, I don't think no one's going to Boston.
No, I don't think
stubborn
it
man.
was not gonna be a trade. It's gonna be he's gonna walk from Miami. Like he's gonna leave Miami. I don't think he'll stay with Miami. He'll probably
I
go
think
to.
they're going to want to get rid of him at this rate. It's just bad.
Well, no, they won't get rid of him because his highs are a defensive player of the year candidate. Like he's a 2010
Yeah, but,
player at
like-
his highs. He doesn't have a team.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a team. You can't see. This is my thing.
Gotta be better. Gotta be better from him.
What I'm saying is you can't put it on him when he's playing with 4 white guys, playing with Duncan Robinson starting. Like
So
you
he's a
can't
racist.
blame this guy.
So we could say he's a racist. Which is a
No,
bad
but I'm
team
saying
call.
you can't blame Bam when your star player, your number one option star player doesn't show up.
Gotta blame him a little bit.
Tyler
Gotta blame him a
Hero,
little
Tyler
bit.
Hero is we know who Tyler Hero is. He's again not a first option player. Not even a third, second option player. Like he's and then you have Duncan Robinson starting. He's not a starter in this league. You have Jaime starting, who's not a starter in this league. Terry Rozier off the bench, who well, that's a good bench piece, but it's like again, Rozier's been starting. He's not a starter level player. You're surrounded. Bam is surrounded by bench players, and you're expecting this man to win.
They're not that bad.
Yes.
They're not that bad.
Yes.
No.
The only valuable player I named in that whole conglomerate of players is Tyler Hero, and he's a fourth option player on
Terry
any
could
other
play
team.
basketball. Terry could play basketball.
But he's not a starter. He's not a starter level on. If there's 30 teams in the league, he doesn't start on those 30 teams. He's a bench piece on
He
every
starts
single
on a
one of those
couple.
teams.
He doesn't bet on every single one. No.
No. Who is he
No,
starting
no.
on? Who is he starting on? Name 2 teams he starts on. And
He'd get start on the Wizards. He'd
I
be
disagree.
with Ivy dead. He'd be the second best guard now on the Pistons.
Disagree.
He would get start on the Hornets.
He's not starting on the Hornets.
He's starting on the Hornets.
No.
He'd get start on.
He's not starting over
Bulls.
LaMelo, Bridges. No, because you have to
Bridges
start
is a small
LaMelo,
forward.
Bridges, Miller, and their center. What's his name?
LaMelo, Rozier, Bridges,
I-
Miller. Williams.
Don't know if I would start
That's your
Rozier
five.
on that team.
Rozier's a starter on at least 6 to 8 teams.
I
He's a solid
I
player.
disagree with the Pistons as well.
I think you're underrating. I think you're
Thompson-
underrating the Miami Heat supporting cast.
No, Thompson and the other rookie are
He's a
both
better player than
than
David Thompson.
Rozier. Are both
Right now, he's a better player than Nathan Thompson.
I'm talking about Asar Thompson. He's not starting over Asar Thompson. Asar Thompson is a better defender and offensive player than Terry Rozier at this very moment. Asar Thompson's a much more valuable piece in the long run. And Ron Holland, I would start Ron Holland before I start Terry Rozier.
You are. This is bad. You might be on crack. This is one of the worst things I've heard from.
You're saying you're starting
This
Terry
is
Rozier over
unintellectual.
Asar Thompson?
He'd be the second best guard with a healthy Ivy on the Pistons. Terry Rozier is
I'm
not
not
that
starting
bad of a
Rozier on the Pistons over Cade. You start Cade, and you're talking about healthy Ivy.
Healthy Ivy, I'm putting on the bench or small forward because he's big.
No.
Terry Rozier would be a top 5 player in the Pistons. Terry Rozier is not that bad. I don't see
I'm
where
not
Terry
calling
Rozier.
him bad, but he's not.
I
He's
don't see
not
you're
starting.
calling him
He's
bad.
not
If
starting.
he can't start on
He's a
any
bench
team,
player.
he's a bad player.
He's a bench player. At this point in his career, he's a six-man bench player.
That means he's bad.
How?
Jamal Crawford was a six-man bench player, but he could start on half the teams. He was just better.
But
on the bench.
I don't. You're making.
You could say Terry Rozier is better off the bench.
But
as a
you're
right-wing
saying
scorer.
Rozier is
saying he
starting
can't start
on
anywhere?
teams that he's not starting on, because
beats
I don't
them.
think most teams need Rozier to start. He's a bench player.
I don't think he is.
You're propping Rozier up to be this like first option guard. Like
He's not a first option, but he's a starter. There's five starters, so there's not
disagree,
five
man.
first options.
I'm not starting Rozier over Cade, Ivy.
I'm not either.
I'm starting Ron Holland over. I'm starting Asar Thompson over. I'm starting B. Stu over him. You're talking about Tobias. I'm starting Tobias Harris over him. I'm starting. What's his name? Beasley's
Tobias
been
is
playing out of his.
23.
Beasley's been
Beasley's
playing.
a microwave scorer off the
Beasley's
bench.
been playing out of his mind for this whole season so far. He's been the best three-point shooter in the league.
Rozier's taking the Beasley role then.
I don't think
he's
so.
He's a
because
six man.
Beasley's been shooting arguably the best three-point shooter
I'm
in the
talking
league. this
rotations.
season.
He's a six man right now.
Like I just don't think he starts on that.
I think
Pistons
you're
team.
underrating my precious scary.
Maybe
He's not a bad player.
Hornets are arguably the only team he actually starts on. I wouldn't start him on the Nets because the Nets have a lot of just random pieces that, like, I don't think you like. It's just like, do you want D'Lo or do you want Rozier? Like, you're not starting him over Cam Johnson or Cam Thomas. You're not starting him over any of the bigs. If you're talking about pure guards, you're not starting him over Murray or. No, you're not starting him over Christian Braun or Murray, or at this point Westbrook has been playing great. You're not starting him over Austin Reeves or Max Christie. You're not starting him over obviously anybody on Celtics, anybody on like.
I'd say I'm not saying he starts on every team. I'm just saying he starts on about 6 or 8 teams.
I don't think he replaces anybody on the Rockets. I don't think he replaces.
I still think he's a decent player, a solid starter.
Even a bad team like.
He's not going to win you a championship if a team needs one piece. He's not that kind of player, but I think he still got it in him.
He doesn't start over even like Portland, who's tanking. Like you don't start him over Sharp or the other guy. I can't think of his name.
Scoot?
No, they have another guard. Anthony Simmons. He's not starting either of those.
Scoot.
Rozier is a good player. He's a bench player though. He is at this point in his career where he should be playing off the bench. It's like Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is a great player, a good defensive player, a great defensive player, but he's not starting.
Well, I agree with you there. I think I'm trying to give Rozier some props. Where he should be is a bench player on a title team. On a shit team, and there's a few of them, he'd start on all of them. He's good enough for that.
Like I said, besides the Wizards and Hornets, I don't think there's a single team I'd start him on. Because I think there's better options. Like the Pistons have a load of options. Ron Holland is a good player. Please, Asar Thompson should be starting. He is starting because he's a good player. Because his defensive highs, his defensive gap between Rozier is monumental. You're talking about a guard that can play like a wing, and he can rebound at a high rate. He's averaging like 10 rebounds when he plays. He averages like 6 stocks. Like this guy, this second year player is insane. You're not starting Rozier over that. Ron Holland's also just been pretty good offensively and defensively. They're calling him like the Terror Twins or whatever. Like they're a good team. I don't think you start him over Ivy or Cade, obviously. Which Cade is like a small forward guard, but it's like I don't know. You just don't. I don't think he starts on that. And I think, again, I don't think Miami's cast is awful, but they're not like none of them are true starters. And that's the thing where I'm trying to give Bam props. Whereas like when your star players aren't showing up, you can't just put all the blame on him, man. Like he's basically at a point where like, yeah, he's giving up, he's tanking, because look at his team. Like you're expecting.
If you're giving up though, that's a bad sign.
No, I can agree, but I think he's trying to walk. I think he's trying to get traded. I think Bam's trying to get.
I see Bam, and this is somebody that is down offensively across the board from 22 to 23, and now down again from 23 to 24. So he either needs to be moved, and I'm moving him over Spoelstra. I think Bam's a great player, but he's not going to be a number 1 option on the title team. So
well, again, Bam. I think Bam knows he's not a number 1 option.
They blow it up and try it with Tyler.
Well, this is again. This is my thing.
Do something.
Bam. I think understands he's a 3rd, 4th option player. Like he's fully in that role of he doesn't need to score. He just wants to defend. He's
Yeah.
a defensive player of the year candidate when he's in the right position. He's also playing out of position. Like there's so many other variables to go into. He's playing out of position. He's a true power forward. He's not a center. He's a true four. He's playing out of position. He's playing with a bunch of, again, he's playing with a bunch of, bench pieces. Like Duncan Robinson has been off the bench his whole career, and then because everybody just disappeared this season, now he's starting. Tyler Hero is a third option player on 90% of teams. Not even that. On most teams, he's probably worse than that. But he's a third option. He's not a true first option. And he's been playing as the true first option. Which, again, that's why, the Miami Heat are losing so many games. Because, it's been Bam and Hero show. And Bam's underperforming, and Hero is just trying to get his trade value up. I don't really know. But Hero's been playing pretty solid. But it's like, he's not a true first option. And then, again, you have Rozier and Jaime swapping through rotation. Jaime's a second-year player that shouldn't be starting. And Rozier, again, I think he's a six-man. Which that's where he's been all season. Even on a tanking Miami Heat team, he's been off the bench almost all season until, Butler's in and out of rotation. This guy's in and out of rotation. Like, the team is a mess. And I don't feel like Bam deserves all the blame for how bad that team is. They are a mess from top to bottom. I think Spoelstra's still a great coach and can coach any team to playoffs, and that's why they're still in play-in territory. But that team is a mess, like top to bottom, and I think Butler is just making it worse with his antics.
I agree.
But again, I think it's also Miami's fault for the past 3 years not doing anything in off-season trades.
It never really ever is in sports, but it's not one guy's full fault, but it's Butler's fault for being Jimmy Butler. It's Pat Riley's fault for not getting a single free agent in the last,
I want to say 4 years.
Since Butler.
I mean, Rozier was their last pickup, I guess, trade pickup.
Yeah. And I'm going to, after propping him up, now I got to tear him down and say, that was not a game-changing move. I like him, but he's not going to win you a championship.
I agree.
So,
surprise, surprise. I think I agree with that.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, I'll defend him and say he can start on some teams, but he's not going to be like, that was never going to be the move that made the Heat a title team. It's just bad GMing. Your star player's a bitch. Your second option is White, and your third option has, this year, worse effective field goal percentage around the rim than Gobert. So, the team sucks. But also, it's not that bad. But also kind of sucks at the same time. It's hard to see. It's bullshit there. It's always a weird team. But blow it up. Send Jim out of there. Get Bam out of there. I think Tyler's the truth, honestly. I think he's having a great year. I think he can be a number 2 option.
Yeah, see, that's my thing. I think Hero's a second, third option player. But I don't think he's...
But I mean...
You're building around him. It's like, I don't think he's meant to be a first option. You can go for it. Go for the rebuild around him. But, like,
what's
I
most
just don't
impressive
think
to
it's
me, points are up, usage rate up, so are percentages, field goal and 3-point. That's most impressive to me. Efficiency is at a career high right now. To me, he's proven he could be a second option on a title threat team.
I think... Bro, get that man to go get Tyler here to like, I don't know, like
throw him on Nuggets.
I was gonna say Nuggets, but I didn't know how crazy that was gonna sound.
He's your second best. I'm just saying he's your second best player, and he makes that team better. So
his only fault is his defense.
Everybody else on the Heat underperforming. Shout out Tyler. I would say most improved in the conversation. All right, well, should we move on to our final piece, final activity?
We are at an hour and 23 minutes. I did also want to talk about the Suns before we cut into the final.
Hit me with it.
Suns have been disappointing as well.
Very disappointing. Probably now with the Bucks waking up a bit.
Booker has been injured. But he's kind of
also
underperformed.
A little underperforming. Yeah.
Kevin Durant's been injured / just Kevin Durant. You can't really. Beal has been overperforming. I wouldn't say overperforming. He's been performing solidly, but I think he's the problem. This is just my opinion. I think Beal defeats the purpose of having Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones is a pure ethical point guard. And I feel like when you have 3 playmakers trying to playmake because all of them want to pass, it just doesn't work. Tyus Jones should be the point guard, and Beal should be out. But one, they have no
Th-
bench
This,
because of
this
that
team
big
was
three.
this team was damned the day they went and began Beal. It was over from there. They've
If
gotten worse
you,
every single month since.
I genuinely think if you get rid of Beal to get 3 or 4 pieces to fit around like spot up shooter, if you get Cam Johnson, if you somehow get Beal away, somehow get Cam Johnson, this team automatically jumps so far up. Because I think Tyus Jones is a good point guard. I think he's a great passer, great playmaker. Him with the spacing of Kevin Durant, Booker, and a Cam Johnson archetype player would be phenomenal. I also don't think Nurkic. I think Nurkic should have been shipped. I don't think Nurkic was a right option. Like trading DeAndre Ayton for Nurkic was like trading a coughing baby for a coughing baby. I feel like that was just a nonsensical
Aiton's
trade.
still better than Nurkic, I think, right now. So I think it was just a straight up decline.
Let's also about the Wolves. Wolves have been disgusting. Wolves. Celtics.
Yeah, the Suns suck and they're in hell. There's no way they're getting out. The Wolves suck. They're
Yeah,
now
I'm trying.
in
I'm
hell.
just.
There's
I'm
no way
like
they're
quick
getting out.
firing this. Wolves awful move. Cat was the truth. Cat is what elevated Ant-Man the same way Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum elevate each other.
Yeah.
Cat elevated Ant-Man's game so much because that spacing allowed Ant to be able to drive, but now the whole court's flooded because you have fat ass Julius Randle in there, and you have Gobert in there, and it's like, ooh, well,
Randle's
we don't
just
better
not
watch
an
the
elite
paint
player.
because he's not gonna be able to drive.
And his 3-point shooting has been elite, but everything else hard drop.
Ant has regressed in everything besides shooting. Ant is also a terrible mental state. I don't care if he's 23. This is the difference between a star and a superstar is if you get doubled, you beat it by playmaking, and that's what every other star does.
Yeah.
Ant-Man went and cried to the media because he was getting doubled. And then he...
Well, it's the AAU ball. You grow
My
up. You grow up
thing-
as the best player on every single team you play. Team basketball.
My thing is, Ant-Man, his worst problem is his IQ, obviously, but he can't play make as high as people thought he could on top of his IQ. And on top of the media propping him up so much, now when he's actually getting exposed, people are now belittling him like he's not a great player. He's still a star. He's not a superstar. My thing is
Yeah. I agree.
he is...
He has funny sound bites, so people will say, "Oh, he's
He
the next
is,
one up."
he
He'll carry
is,
the league.
I don't care what anybody says. He is in the same category as Jaylen Brown and Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker. He is not in this.
He's in the
tier
10 to
above them.
15s right now.
He's not a tier above these guys. Like he is on the same level as Jaylen Brown. As he's a
Oh yeah,
Good,
and of
great
those
player.
four, I think only Booker he's been better than, and even then it's close.
Mitchell.
Mitchell and Jalen Brown have been better than him this year. I'd say in order, I'd go Mitchell, Brown, Edwards, Booker.
Yeah, I
so
give
far
Mitchell
this year.
props for being the first option on the best team right now. Like it's the same thing I would have
He's
said.
playing
with
well.
Tatum.
His numbers say that if he had to carry, he could drop like 32 again, but he just obviously that's not a good thing. Yeah,
Again,
no, those two.
Tatum at 23. Tatum at 23 swept a super team Nets and made it to the finals. We lost. Tatum has been dogged, and Tatum's whole image has been destroyed because of that finals, that 2022 finals. And people forget that Tatum was 23, the same age as Ant-Man right now. And Tatum never once went to the media and said, well, they're doubling me or yada, yada, yada. Tatum just took it on the chest, got better. Ant-Man has done nothing but complain to the media. They're
That's what
doubling
great
me.
players
I don't
do.
want to play like that. I'm still young. I'm still 23. They're doubling me. What am I supposed to do? And then he goes in Eagle Balls, tries to play Hero Ball. He scores 50 on 35 shots. Nobody else on the team has above 10 points. He has 6 turnovers, 2 assists. And people are like, see, he's a good scorer. But it's again, he's He's
We know
trying
he can
eagle
do
ball.
that.
He's
He
an
needs
eagle
to make
ball.
his team better.
He's not a floor raiser. He doesn't elevate his team at all.
The slight thing I'll give him is that team sucks
No, I agree.
around him. But it's majority. Ant needs to be better. If he's gonna be a star, he needs to be better.
I
Because
will-
Randall's like playing with like a stop sign. Like
I
he's not
will
gonna move
still
off ball.
say-
He has no shot.
The best thing they could if they were gonna move Cat because of the bracket, the tax bracket or whatever, the money problem being the issue, Randall was not the option. Trade him for a couple
No.
other pieces and start Reed. Nas Reed is the truth. I don't care what people say. He is
He's good.
one of the best big man shooters we've ever seen.
He's their
And
best
he has the
offensive big man.
handles of a point guard. If you take Randall out of this lineup and put Reed in the starting lineup, they win 9 of the 10 of the games they've lost, or their 17 losses. I think they win 8 of them. Like
I
that
wouldn't go that far, but they'd be a
no, well,
better
my
team.
thing is the spacing opens, and then again you have that spacing where Ant can now start driving because they have Reed in the corner or something. I
That's
think
true. I
Reed
think
elevates that
honestly,
offense.
I still say this: the biggest loss, even beyond Cat, is Conley, literally despawning. They have no
Well,
guard. Dillingham's not getting play. Ant Man can't dribble the ball for the life of him and get out of double teams and stuff, and he's starting to pout. They
why
can't. There's
I
no ball
agree.
handler on that team.
I agree,
I
but
think
I still think the problem is
just as much as Cat leaving, they have no guard, no point guard.
Gobert can't shoot a three. He can't space the floor. Randall can't space the floor. McDaniels can't shoot to save his life, so he can't space the floor. You have 3 players in your starting offense that can't shoot at a high rate from the three. They are
Yeah,
just flooding the paint.
yeah.
And then you have
It's just not good.
Conley, who has regressed, and you have Ant-Man, who has regressed in every other stat because of the floor spacing, but he's elevated his three-point shooting. But again,
It's just not good.
it's a bad team.
Mm-mm-mm.
Again, Randall was the problem. That whole trade, you had to get rid of Cat. I get it. The money problem, you had to pick between Cat and Ant. You get rid of Cat. It makes sense.
I would
But
do the same thing if you have to, but
you don't
in
you don't get
hindsight,
Randall. You don't get Randall.
this was a bad move.
Yeah.
This was a franchise killer. I mean, it's tough to rebound from a bad move like that. Unless the Timberwolves hit on some draft picks, a free agent,
They
Dillingham
did.
ends up being a great
They
player.
did. Well, that's the problem. They did hit on
I think
draft.
I think the Timberwolves are. I mean, you get the Celtics are running it. The Thunder are going to be great for years to come.
Spurs are next
The
up.
Spurs are going
Rockets
to
are
be
looking
great.
amazing.
The Nuggets are still good. The Rockets are coming up. You know, teams like the Lakers will always have big free agent pickups. I don't see the Timberwolves having a path to the finals in Anthony Edwards' career. It just
I
doesn't seem like there's a window open right now.
I think Ant is going to be a Carmelo Anthony. Maybe he's gonna go down as a great scorer, a fun scorer to watch, fun player to watch, but not win anything.
Eh.
And
They can
again,
all win. I mean, it's hard to win. It's hard to win in sports. There's some great players never won, but I mean,
again,
he's still 23. I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's just with this team, and I don't see it right now. There's so many good teams out
I
there.
also a lot of blame has to go on the coaching staff because not starting or not playing Dillingham when your guard depth is so awful. Not
He
even
must either
giving
be
Dillingham run is crazy because he's a hooper. He's a pure
I,
hooper.
he must be like either a bad shot in practice or he's no defense and a value to add. But
His only problem I noticed when I saw him play against the
I haven't seen
Celtics,
him play, so I can't really judge him.
my only noticed thing I think is he's undersized. He's not undersized, but he's a smaller guard. And when he gets on the switch, he's a liability.
He probably gets
But
abused on defense, but you
but
got to
his
get some offense.
his
in there.
his handles and his scoring ability is on the level, not on the level, but he has a resemblance to a Maxi, a Brunson. Well, not a Brunson because he's not a big body Brunson, but in that terms of like how they score, like they're just down the lane scorers, can shoot the three ball. Like he gives me flashes of Maxi. I think he could be Maxi. I think he could be a Maxi like player, but they just don't want to give him the run. It's
I want to see
crazy.
him get some play, man.
All right, let's
Well,
run off this tier list real quick.
should we smack this list?
Yeah, 'cause we're at an hour and
Should we
30
get
minutes.
nasty with it?
So
We'll make it quickie icky. All right, let me share this bad boy. Oh, sorry. All right, so I thought this would be a little fun action. Just tier listing the duos. You know, we don't have to like order them and all that, but just saying like what we're feeling. There's some interesting choices in here, but just a few of the duos in the league, ranking them amongst what we've seen so far and what we know they're capable of in case they're having a down year or hurt or something like that. But first one is Maxi and Embiid.
I think they're B. I think they're a true A tier, but I'm gonna put them in B.
Are we doing now before we go
This
through?
season.
Are we doing like right now this season these
This
tiers
season,
or
this
like
season.
what we think they could be?
This
season?
just purely
go
based
B on
off
that.
this season. No, I think they're B. I think they're arguably a
Maxi.
C team because they haven't done enough. They haven't played enough together.
That's fair. They're just too talented to be.
But I think they're a true A team, A tier.
Yeah. All right, Trey Young and Jalen Johnson.
This is hard because I think
I'm gonna go
they are probably the best young
A here.
duo. I think they're the best young duo in the league right now.
I think they deserve to be A tier. I think this is a top 10 duo, maybe.
Jalen
Eh.
Johnson's jump, the
Trae
leap.
Young's had a solid year.
Jalen Johnson's leap has been insane. Like Trae Young's still one of the best passers in the league, but Jalen Johnson going to be becoming a
All-star player.
2010 six player has been insane. No, he's definitely.
I think that's A tier.
I agree. Either A or a top of B, but they're definitely
Yeah,
A.
like they'll be bottom A probably, but I
Yeah,
think they deserve to be that A tier, top two
that's
tier.
Shaden Sharp and
Simons
Anthony.
and Sharp. I mean,
They're like a D tier, but they're just rebuilding. Like
they're cool players. They're nice, but yeah, someone's got to be down there. So they're not terrible, but I'll go D tier with them. I agree with that. All right, Antetokounmpo and Lillard. Now, Giannis is a top 3 player, I think. Lillard's had he's streaky, but he's a guard getting old. You know, same with Curry and other guards. Like guards, you know, they don't keep up as well as the big fellas. So
I
he's still
think,
having a really good. He's still having a really good year.
yeah, I
Lillard's
would say
looked,
he's still having a solid year.
he's looked a lot better than last year. So give him credit. He's played a lot better than last year. I'm gonna go A tier based on team success, and Lillard still being streaky. But if
Yeah,
you
I
want to
was.
say S, I'm like okay, I'd go high A though.
I wouldn't put S. I think there's only maybe 3 people on this team that should be an S.
We'll get the S, but maybe yeah, we'll see, but maybe even 2. Anyway, I think they're I'll put them above the Hawks, but I think they're A tier.
Yeah, I think they're like. Yeah, I think they're A. They should be A. I think Giannis does enough to be A.
By himself, he's like a B, yeah. And Lillard's having a really good year. All right, Levine and Vucevic.
I don't even know if I would put those two as the. I think the
Fully healthy is their 2 best players, but I
I
mean
don't know,
that
man.
team's so weird.
Yeah, because like Kobe White and I feel like
Vucevic,
I put him C. I don't know C. I don't know because Vucevic is having a great season. Levine's having a great season.
Vucevic is sniping, but he's still a defensive liability.
It's low key a B,
Levine,
but it's
Levine's a great shooter too, but they're talented players. I'm going, I think C
Yeah, I think they're top of
with these
C,
guys.
bottom of B.
I think they're C. I think they're C. It's the availability, but neither one's a good defender, and the availability on Levine is just shit. So I don't know what's going on. The Bulls are such a weird team. What they're up to.
Oh.
Whoa. Porn.
This is the one I'm like.
Mitchell Garland. Now,
I
I know Mitchell's a great player. Shout out to Garland. I called him a bum. I slandered this poor fellow last year. He still has to play in the playoffs to prove it to me. But he's been much better this year than he was last year.
Well, this is the thing. Mitchell is
I
a
think,
top 10 player. Garland's like a top 30 player.
yeah.
So like the gap
Garland's-
between the first and second option is kind of nasty.
Garland's still like Hall of Fame. Will go 2 for 40. Just won't stop shooting. Like,
Yeah.
please stop. But he's been much better and consistent this year. Mitchell's doesn't have to be an MVP candidate, but you know, I think he could score 30 a game if he had to.
This one's difficult.
Still won't go S.
I-
Still won't go S. And honestly, I think I'd take Giannis and Lillard over him.
I might take Trae Young and Jalen John. I know the Cavs are the best team right now, but I think it's also more of a. Again, I think it's also more the duo is Mitchell and Bam or
I think Mitchell and Mobley.
Mobley. That's what I would say. If it was Mitchell
Mitchell
and
and
Mobley, I think they're high A, but
Mitchell and Garland's a fun duo, but
I don't think that's the duo of the team, in my opinion.
so I'll say. So you say I'll say in front of Hawks. You want to say behind him then?
You can put them in the middle. It don't really matter.
All right.
It's around there. They're all kind of close.
And we had 2 bums.
This is, I mean, this is S. It's a top
Tatum,
5
Brown.
player and a top 15 player. Like that's
Yeah.
This what's the best?
It's the best duo in the
Duo
league,
league.
so it's got to be S. All right. Next one.
You put it in the wrong spot.
Oh yeah. Well, there's not a tier below this.
Can you
so,
put it?
yeah.
Just put an S. Come on.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to
Thank you.
apologize to you. Harden Powell. Shout out both guys playing way better than I thought they would.
They're overperforming. They're overperforming expectation.
Norman Powell is a fringe all-star this year. James Harden is as well. He's still a top 5 playmaker passer. Norman Powell is shooting like a freak. It's really impressive.
They're B.
Honestly, I mean,
They're B.
I'd go high B. I think Young and Johnson have been better.
They're B.
Low A, high B. I think, but they're both Maxey and Embiid for me.
Yeah. So
Gotta
far
give
this season, I don't think Maxi and Embiid have played more than 5 games together. So
No, obviously, talent-wise, Max and Embiid have S tier potential, but Harden Powell is just they gotta give him some props. All right, Jokic Murray.
this is the problem. Jokic
Now
alone
Murray,
is Jokic alone is S tier, drags him to S tier, but Murray drags them so down that I wouldn't be offended if they were in C tier, but they're
nah,
not
he's
that
not.
lower. They're arguably B. They're top of B,
Want to
bottom
give
of A.
Murray credit. Want to give Murray credit. His December was pretty good. It was his best month in like 2 years statistically. He was shooting like 22 points, shooting at like 50%, 38 from 30. Like it wasn't like primary numbers, but it was like, wait, is he okay? Is he all right? He's played much better the last month or so. Jokic being is such a freak. Murray being, I still think he could be a good point guard, not an all-star, but a good player. I want to put this in A.
I'd put it bottom of A or top
Bottom
of
A.
B. Top of B or bottom of A. That's my opinion.
I'll let you choose. I'll let you choose that.
You can do bottom of A. I don't think he's above Jalen Johnson or Garland and I think it's purely based off of Murray. If we're talking full season, I think I'd put him B. Top of B, but
Well, I want to give
I'm
Murray
fine with
props.
this. I'm fine with this.
He had a good now. If we did this a month ago, yes, I'd go B. But honestly,
This
he had a
one,
good month. Morant.
top of A. I'm putting this top of A.
This year only, I'm gonna put this top of B
I disagree.
for me, just because Morant has been mainly injuries and availability. But Morant's still a great point guard. Triple J has been playing great. Honestly, looking like his best
Triple
year
J
so far,
has had one of the
offensively.
best offensive seasons he's ever had. He's looking like a young Kevin Garnett. His defensive and offensive impact has been so incredible this year. He's having spikes of Kevin Garnett, and I'm
Yeah.
purely happy to put
For
him in
me,
A.
it's whereas Murray brought Jokic down. I think Morant's not bringing Jackson down, but not really taking him up. I would take everything in A over Morant and Jackson this year so far,
Oh, I'm fine with that.
and I would put them top of B.
Maybe I just want to give Jaren Jackson credit because I've slandered him a lot. He has looked like
I say individually, Jaren Jackson Jr., All Star. Shout to him,
he
carrying the team right now. Ja is just two in and out. He's playing well when he's in, hitting triple doubles, hitting some good shots. Still got the
his
dunks on him.
his
But it's
spikes his spikes of
He just
Garnett
plays 2
and
games and
Morant,
he's
I don't
out
know.
for 5. Plays 3 games, out for 6. It's just
Oh my bad, I'm still talking about Triple J. He has been
Alright, you're fine.
his offensive defensive impact have both improved this year. He's almost looking like a defensive player of the year candidate again, but he's also looking like a great offensive player. So I want to give him credit where credit's due.
no, I agree. Top of B fair,
Yeah, you could put him in like
but Triple J.
you could put him like D or something.
Oh my god. But if Morant was healthy, they'd be easy A.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'd-
even knock it on.
I would put him. I'd put him top of that if Morant was playing healthy and played.
Yeah. They'd be in the argument at
This
least
might
above
this might be the first F tier.
Butler. Band. This is F.
This might be the first F tier.
Both are shitting themselves. Butler's about to get traded. Bam's giving up. It's F.
This is a D team. This is D before. I put this.
LaMelo
Lamelo.
Ball and Brandon
is
Miller
exciting.
on the fun scale. This is an S tier combo. On the winning basketball scale, this is. I think I'll put him C. I'll put him
They're-
above Vucevic and Levine.
They're so fun to watch, and Brandon Miller is
They're
such a
fun.
pure
They're
hooper. When Brandon Miller is healthy and plays, he's such a pure hooper. I love.
I'll watch him
I love
play,
his
and I'm
game.
like, damn, he's killing it. And I look at the box score, and he shot 8 for 25, and I'm like, fuck, it looked good though.
Dude,
so,
Miller looks
they're
great. Lamelo's a shot chucking freak, but he's so good to watch. He's so fun to watch. I'm like, fair enough to him.
Shout out to the Hornets. I think it's top of C though. I put him over the Bulls.
I could put him there.
Yeah. Shout out to them though. Fox Sabonis. They're kind of weird.
Fox is having
Fox is a great player, but
he's
he's coming out.
arguably having an All NBA season.
He's having a
13.
great season, but he's showing diva tendencies.
I
Little
can agree
divas
with
coming
that.
out of him. Kind of a bitch. Defense is still bad because he's a little guy, but yeah, you're born that way.
He's-
Sabonis is worse defensively somehow.
Yep.
Complete turnstile on defense. Offensively, still a great player, but I think he's peaked.
This could be a
This is a
bottom of B, top of C.
I want to go
It's almost it
below.
feels.
I want to go right here. I want to go below Grizzlies, above Clippers. How do you feel about that?
No, I can rock with that.
You rocking that? I would take them over Harden Powell still. Shout out to Harden Powell. Actually, yeah. No,
That's
no, they're
fine.
better. They have like 8 more wins. They got to be above them.
Okay.
We'll go with that. Maxime be too hurt.
This next team's A. I can already.
Brunson Towns this year, I'm going S. I think it's been the second best duo. Well, maybe third best because Luka and Irving are out, but I think it's been at least a top 3 duo here. Dan White and LeBron.
It's hard because they've had some stinkers. And
They've had some stinkers,
they
but I
look
just-
like very much like one goes off, the other just stinks it up.
But I think Brunson,
They've had a few good games where they both combine for 30, but I feel like
even
it's
when
very,
he shoots 30%, he's still playmaking well. Cat has been great. He's been a top 10 player, All NBA player. Are they S over LeBron and AD?
I'd put him
Go
top.
high A. How about top
I'd
A?
put him top of
Above
A. We
Bucks?
can revision it if it feels needed.
Okay, we'll
they're
go top.
They're top of A. As of right now,
think-
they're top of A. They're fringe S.
I think LeBron and AD is S still.
As
I
a
think
duo,
LeBron-
yeah, it's
LeBron is still arguably a top 10 player. AD, when healthy, is a top 10 player.
AD's arguably a top.
Top 5, maybe.
When healthy,
times.
he's a top 6 player. He's
Yeah.
right outside of top 5, but he
LeBron,
doesn't
he
play
took-
healthy enough.
He took his night off. He got his HGH shots. The last few weeks, he's been crazy. I think they're still S tier.
Yeah, yeah, because even LeBron's rough age
There's
of
one-
40 is still playing good defense.
There's
Like,
one more. Yeah, there's one more combo here I'd put S. But I think 3 S tier combos. I think this is one of them. So put that there. Now this is a sad one. Big as Paolo and Wagner.
They were top of A. Arguably.
They might be above Brunson Towns.
They
if
were
fully
arguably top
healthy.
of A. They were both All NBA candidate, looking like top 15 players.
Banchero put in a nasty 5 games, called it. Wagner took over, looked like a top 10
This-
player for 2 months.
This is the
Tore the same thing.
this is literally the closest thing we've seen to Tatum Brown. Like it's
They're looking really good.
two really solid scoring wings who can play defense.
I don't even know how to rank them
They're such I
because it's just pure injury here.
I put him in
If we're ranking
B.
on
I'm putting him
potential-
in B because like we've seen, well, it's the same
Sixers
thing with
too.
Embiid and Maxey. On potential, they're S, but
We'll
they've
put them
been
right next to
injured.
the Sixers. Yeah, we'll put 'em next to the Sixers. I think Luka Kyrie is S tier because I still think Luka's a top 5 player, top 3 at times if he's locked in. And I think Kyrie has, honestly, this is the best Kyrie's looked since the Cavs. He has played really great basketball, shooting really well, percentages are up too, and volume. Luka's
mean-
still got it. I think he's just kind of beat up and tired. If you want to go A because Luka's been out a few games, I get it. I would still go low S, below the Lakers, but I think they're the 3rd best duo.
I think purely because of injury, I'd put him A, but you can put him S, bottom of S,
But I'm S, okay.
bottom of S.
But in terms of order, 3rd and, I think that's fair. Cam and Cam,
They're unironically a C tier.
kind of fun. I mean, yeah,
Neither of them, Cam's been out the whole season. Like
I'm putting him.
Cam's been out the whole season. They're both named Cam.
I'm putting below LaMelo and Miller. You think?
My thing is, yeah, because Thomas has only played like 5 games this season.
Cam's been hurt. Cam Johnson's a great player, but fully healthy, they might sneak into B. But yeah, they're a C tier team. All right, Shy and J Dubs. Shy's an S tier player, but J Dubs across the board kind of down on everything this year.
This
Bit
is the
disappointing.
same tier as the Cavs, because you have a top 5 player, but then you have a player that's like top 30.
Yeah, and he's been a little shaky, so I will go
I put him below Mitchell.
below Mitchell. Yeah, I would agree. Above the Hawks. And then Halliburton, Siakam.
Top of
Now,
B. I
Like
want to say
Jamal
top of B.
Murray, Halliburton had a pretty damn good December. He woke up, but he's been disappointing all year. Siakam's been disappointing too. Not really talked about, but he's had a rough year. I'm going top of C with these guys. I think they're a C tier right this
all
year.
right, I can agree with that.
You cool with that?
Yeah,
Yeah, you cool with that?
yeah.
Pookie?
They've been
Sorry.
stable. This is another F tier.
Zion
They haven't
Ingram.
even played a game together. That's an F.
F tier. That's F tier. Cunningham and Ivy? I mean, Ivy's having a career year. He's looked
You
really
have
good.
you have an
He's been fine.
arguable top 15 player, and you have an arguable top 20 player, top 25 player, top 30.
I want to
player.
go that far for Ivy, but I think he's like a top 40.
Okay.
Not all-star yet, but just good.
I want to put
Jamal Murray low.
them
I would think they are.
above
Ivy's
the
out now, but
Hornets.
so far,
So I'd put them above the Hornets, in between the Hornets and Pacers, but that's my opinion.
I put them above the
I
Pacers.
don't know. I was gonna say Cade's been playing. Cade's been arguably a top 15 player.
Cade has been much better than Halliburton, and Siakam I'll take over Ivy still, but it's not. It ain't that. This year it has not been that big. Because of Cade's push, I put him over the Pacers.
You could put him top C. I agree with that.
Yeah, look at us. Look at us. Barrett Barnes, another injury.
Now,
Scotty was out a lot of times, but they look good, man.
Barrett's having a career year. Barnes is having a down year. I'd put them.
But he's still capable. Like just a few nights ago, he had that 35-point triple double.
I'd put him above
But
the
Barnes
Nets.
Barnes has been hurt too.
I think
Yeah,
they're
so
above the Nets, behind the Hornets. I think their
I'm cool
ceiling,
with that.
no,
cool with
their peak is probably top of or in somewhere in B. But
I think
because
fully
of their
healthy
season-
Barnes and Barrett locked in, they can sneak in the A even. At least
Yeah,
tie
they
B,
just
but
they've
it's
been so injured. It's like one comes in, the other's injured, so it's hard to say. But Barrett's having a career year. Barnes is having a good year.
Jalen Green, Sengun.
They're in B, in my opinion.
Sengun is.
They're both.
I think Sengun's broken into Booker Brown Mitchell talks, or at least he's right there, right under him.
Jalen
he's a
Green
top- I
is
think
just
he's been a top
too
20
streaky.
player.
Jalen Green's just so streaky.
Jalen Green, I
man.
don't trust him. I don't believe in him. Poor
Uh,
Jalen. I don't believe in him. I think they're B because the team's been doing really well.
Yeah, I put him
Gotta give him
bottom
some
of
credit
B, to
there.
be honest. Because
I
I
wanna
can't put him over Orlando. Even injured, I can't put
I
him
want to
over
put him
Orlando.
over Orlando and Philly because of injuries. Fully healthy, Orlando's arguably S, and so are the
Fair.
Sixers. But I think
Because
of injuries-
that's my thing. If we're talking fully healthy, I think Sixers move into S tier. Or
Honestly, I'm making it
outside
S
of S tier.
I fucked it up. I might make a new tier just called "Fucked Up" and put the Sixers, Magic, and Raptors in there. All right, Wemby and CP. Why'd I say it like that?
Arguably,
Um,
arguably B. You could argue A. I don't think they're
Chris
A.
is just too old. I mean, he's averaging like 8 points a game, but the passing's still elite.
I want to throw him in B tier. Just in B tier.
Wemby's
somewhere
been an
in B
MVP
tier.
candidate. Yeah, I'm cool with B. What do you think of B?
Maybe.
Are they better than the Rockets as a whole because of Wemby?
Yes. Yes. I think
Or
right
the Kings
there.
too?
I think right
Well,
there.
Clippers?
I think.
I'm cool with that.
I think Wemby's impact is just. Wemby's impact could arguably drag him to A, in my opinion. But
I see. I mean, yeah, he's
Chris-
looked like a top 5 player.
Chris
arguably.
Paul
He's in top five.
Chris Paul drags them down to B.
Chris Paul. He's still a good passer though.
No, he's still averaging like 9
he's a bitch.
assists.
He's a bitch. He's a
Yeah,
bitch. But
honestly.
he's a good passer.
Quality.
KD and Booker. KD's still elite, but he's beat up.
Booker's still top 15.
Booker's
C.
still great. A bit of a downgrade, but he's been beat up too.
They're
Team's
B or
been
C. Bottom of
disappointing.
B. Bottom of B.
I think they're top C because of injuries and record.
Fair. C. Top C.
But potential wise, they could be S almost. But it's been a bad year. Injuries. Ant and Randall.
I want to put him in D. That's how disappointed I am in them.
Just to prove a point.
Just to prove a point, put them in F. No, they're
Objectively, I think they're still C. They're C.
they're probably top C. They're in that Booker KD range. In my
I would
opinion.
take them.
I'm putting them right behind the Pistons, above the Pacers. No, I'm putting them above the Pistons. No.
Yeah, no.
Pistons have been better than the Wolves this year.
I want to put them above the Pistons by an inch.
I can agree with that, but because I think Ant's better than Cade. Cade is a all-around better player than Ant-Man,
I'll
but
still
Ant-Man's
give it to Ant
Ant-Man's
right
high is
now,
still better
but
than
Cade's
Cade.
had a better year.
Cade can do more than Ant, is my only thing.
Yeah.
Cade can pass at a
We'll
high
let that-
rate
we'll let that
and
be, but
rebound
that
at a
could
high
go-
rate.
That could
And
go either
score.
way.
So
That could go either way.
I think Cade's been top 15.
Yeah. Laurie and John Collins. I don't care. With
Let's
the
throw
Jazz.
them in like S tier.
They're D.
Let's just throw them in S tier.
Yeah, might as well.
they're F.
Let's give them D. They're playing.
Okay, yeah. There's still
F is
they,
for
they have
late.
they just like 40-piece the Miami Heat the other night with Walker Kessler's like
Yeah.
18-16, so fair enough to him.
Walker 8. Shout out Walker, Texas Ranger. F
Man.
tier is like the team has to blow it up. One of these guys is getting traded.
Dare
like
I
10
say,
games.
is that Andrew Wiggins on my screen? Is that Andrew?
That is Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins, and that is the correct duo because Draymond Green,
Put him in C tier.
his defense doesn't make up for his offensive gap to Wiggins.
Put him
Wiggins
in
is
C. Put him in C.
a very good defender.
Top of C.
I'd take Durant and Booker over him. I think they're better than Randall. Wiggins has had a good year.
I would
Wiggins
say
has
put
had
him
a good
top.
year.
I'd take him over the Suns. They're technically doing better than the Suns, and they've been good stinkers. Now this, can we make a new
Suns
tier? Can we make a new tier for this last?
We cannot because Jordan Poole has been playing well enough to drag
This
him to D.
this might be S plus. This might be the
Wow.
the duo of
No,
all
you're right.
time. This might be the duo of all time.
Or a duo. Chopped chin.
Yep. Put him right up in there. Yep. Wow.
That's it. And I think we
That's-
kind of killed it. I mean, Tatum Brown. I think LeBron AD's still second. Maybe Luka Kyrie has an argument, but Luka Kyrie's third. Brunson Town.
This is the thing. If we're talking like
I'm
in
fucking with
prime,
this.
we're talking like in primes.
It's different if we're measuring like what we think they're capable of right now. Still Tatum Brown, but then you got Maxey and Embiid's probably S tier in terms of talent.
Yep. Jaren Jackson, John
Um,
Morant at their peak. If we're talking fully healthy, is
Top
S
A,
tier.
low S, yeah.
Brunson and Cat are probably in S tier. If we're talking about,
Bankero, Wagner might be S tier next year. We'll see.
like I said, they
Excuse me.
Bankero and Wagner are legit like eye tests.
It looks like
They
Tatum
are
Brown.
they look like Tatum and Brown. They look like the next Tatum and Brown. Like they're gonna
Orlando's
be Tatum and
Orlando's
Brown
got
in like 3 years.
Orlando's got the recipe, man. Scrappy guard. They just gotta fire all trainers. Once is a coincidence. The
They
95th injury Orlando get every medical person.
when you have the only 3 oblique injuries in league history on one roster, that's incredible. The only 3 people in history of basketball, well maybe not history, but I'm pretty sure the only 3 people NBA players ever get oblique tears have all been on the same Orlando Magic roster.
Yeah. Oblique.
That's insane.
Oblique. Mo blows his ACL out. Jalen Suggs just got crippled.
Back spasm or something, I don't even know.
Jonathan Isaac hasn't been able to play for 5 years.
Wendell Carter
other
went
random
down
injuries
for
throughout the
Wendell
night.
Carter went down
Carter's
with a
out.
back injury or something.
Carter- There's coincidence with injuries because you need some freak accidents. Too many. There's
This
something wrong
is
with Orlando.
like
There's something wrong there.
this is almost the same thing with the Pistons having two non-contact ACL tears or Achilles tears,
Yeah.
or whatever ruptured when this has been on the
Pacers.
same level. Oh yeah, it was Wiseman
It
and
was Wiseman and Isaiah Jackson.
Isaiah Jackson and Wiseman, both non-contact. Yeah, but still, this is like
I'm willing to call that freak because they're big guys. Big guys seem more susceptible to it historically. 'Cause
This
Cat
is
had
like-
Cat had that really bad strain, but
this has been confusing because it's like
there's something wrong.
every time someone has a career year on the Magic, they get injured. Something's happening. Black Magic, something's wrong with that floor. Repave the whole center. Redo the whole center.
Something is wrong in Orlando, and they have too much talent for that to happen. They got to fix
Yeah,
that.
no.
That is a conference final challenging team.
We are
We killed that.
an hour and 58 minutes. So if you want to outro us out,
That was a lengthy one, but I like that. Well, listen up, no motioners. Thank you for joining us on episode 206 at this point. It's the No Motion Media Podcast. I
new
am
podcast
Melvin Motion
every single day.
every single day and on Mondays. I am Melvin Motion. He's Marvin Motion.
Wrong way.
He's Marvin Motion.
Yeah.
He's off-screen editor Marcus Motion. You can't see him, but he's a great guy.
Yeah,
He
he's
is-
all right. He's all right.
He's serving 3 DUIs, so we can't show him on camera yet for terms of service. But we want to thank everybody for tuning in to our No Motion Media podcast. Merge coming out tomorrow. The No Motion Media manga comes out in a week. He is the illustrator. Marcus is the author. It's like Berserk, but fucked up, he says. So the No Motion Media manga is coming out. The Motion Media movie is in development. We have a lot of great stars, and Daya's going to be working on it. No Motion Media Gaming launching soon. Kai Cenat is a brand ambassador. Queso is a brand ambassador. PewDiePie is a brand ambassador as well. A lot of great brand ambassadors on No Motion Media Gaming. And yeah, just thanks for tuning in.
We got Shroud. We got Shroud.
We got Shroud. We do have Kidnapped. We are No Motion Media human trafficking will be taking off
We
soon.
do have Namias Keita.
In custody.
Thank the Lord.
So if you're his family, to the one guy who always likes Keita tweets.
Yeah,
lives in
every
Portugal,
single time I tweet. Let me find his Twitter. Every single time I tweet about Keita, this one singular person likes my tweets, and he's liked
sir,
about 200 of my tweets.
get in touch with Marvin Motion right here. Get in his DMs and get on this podcast. We do have translators. We could do Portuguese to English. We can make it happen. It would be the greatest TV in basketball media history. It would be electric. Well,
Yeah, we'll have Bradley Beal in the next podcast episode. And that's it.